Hello, hello! Welcome to another MSI Insider live stream. I'm Mike and I'm here together with the one and only
Mr. Ralph.
Yes.
Or Mr. Phone Guy, as the other guys already noticed.
So, today we got some cool stuff. You can already see some nice hardware in front of me. But we have a very nice campaign running at the moment, the Absolute 5 campaign. And it's all about streaming. So today we are going to build a very nice streaming PC based on a new AMD AM5 platform. We have a very nice chest that you can also see in the background with some components in there that we will use to build this PC, or Ralph will build it today. So if you were all tired of me always doing the PC builds, today it's someone else. And that's not everything, because we're actually also giving away one of these kits. So make sure to go to msi.com/2/insider, or if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, you can also follow the direct link that our bot will put in the chat once every 5 minutes. It will lead you to the Gleam giveaway, and at the very end of the stream we will draw one very lucky winner, and he will win one of these chests with an AMD Ryzen 7 7700X, a CoreLiquid C360 liquid cooler, an MAG B650 Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard, and 32 gigabytes of Kingston DDR5 5600
That's
memory.
pretty good.
Yeah, so that's what you can win today. So make sure to participate. Very big giveaway. It's a worldwide giveaway, so make sure to sign up for it.
Is this the biggest giveaway we've ever done, Michiel?
Like in one, nah, I think we've had even bigger ones with a full gaming desktop.
Ah, fair enough.
But it's definitely one of the bigger ones for sure. So
Nice.
make sure to participate. Before we start, I quickly would like to let you see the landing page that we have for this. There we go. To show you a bit what the Absolute 5 is all about. So if you go to msi.com, you will see this. You can click What's New, and there in the showcase arena you will see Absolute 5, a survival guide for every streamer. This is all about streaming, game streaming, so for example through Twitch, or like we're doing now on YouTube, Twitch, etc. And it has a very nice quiz. It's a gaming personality quiz that Ralph actually will take. Well, if his computer works, that remains to be seen. But if his build works,
It's been a while, guys. It's been a while.
then he's going to take this personality test. And after you finished it, you can also participate in another giveaway where you can win one more of those kits. So actually, in total, 2 of these kits are given away. One in this live stream. But if you didn't get lucky this time, you can still participate through our landing page for the Absolute 5 campaign. So make sure to do so. Of course, you can also sign up for both. If you're very lucky, you may have 2 kits in a while. This is together with AMD, Kingston, VoiceMod, Stream Scheme, and Owned 3D Pro. So later on, we'll talk a little bit more about it. We will also demonstrate VoiceMod to you. We tested this yesterday and it was hilarious. So it's really good. So make sure also to check that out later in the stream. But first, I would like to show you a bit about some recommended systems, depending on what kind of streamer you are or you want to be. So we have different configurations. So for a pro streamer, of course, a more high-end configuration consisting of a Ryzen 9 with an X670E motherboard and a 6950 XT graphics card. Then we have recommended setup for the variety streamer, and this is pretty much what we're going to build today. So Ryzen 7 7700X, the B650 Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard, the 6750 XT Gaming S3 graphics card, CoreLiquid C360 liquid cooler, the Kingston Fury Beast RGB memory, it's DDR5 5600. This is a Spatium M480 1 terabyte. Today we have a 2 terabyte. Why are we using the 2 terabyte? Because that one has a Windows installation on it, so it will save some time. The MPG A1000G power supply and the MPG Velox 100p airflow case. So this is what Ralph will use in his build today. And let's hope it works. And then there is also a casual streamer setup, and this is a little bit more entry level. So with the Ryzen 5 and the B650 mortar and a 6600 XT. Still a nice PC, but of course a little bit lower end. So today we'll focus mostly on the variety streamer one. But if you're interested in it, make sure to check out the landing page and make sure also to sign up for the giveaway there. later on, we'll also go a little bit deeper into the different things you can do when you want to stream. And that's also the part where we'll demonstrate the voice mod software. And then I think it's time to get into it, Ralph.
Ooh.
How fast of a PC builder are you?
I never actually timed
we've
it,
got
to be
limited
honest.
time today, and we have to finish it, of course.
Right. They say you can, like, if you're really fast, you can do it within like half an hour, but I think that's really fast.
That's like super quick and
That's
dirty,
super
probably.
fast,
As well.
yeah.
And we also have some RGB in this build, and that tends to take a little bit more time.
Yeah.
See some questions in chat. AMD GPU for streaming. With the 7700X, you can also do it on the CPU. Of course, you can always use a dual stream setup, but the 7700X should be fine also in combining the two. Eventually, it's all about how serious you are about streaming. If you're like a very serious streamer, and if it's, for example, your day job, then it's definitely worth it to invest in a dual PC streaming setup. But today, we're going for a single system.
RGB helps with streaming, yes.
Do you plan to release a Z790 Unify X? Not at this point, but if enough people ask for it, then we may consider. Why is the MEG Z790 Godlike still not in stock? That will probably depend per region, but I think Godlike should be a little bit later in most regions compared to the other Z790 boards. So that's not too strange that they are not in stock yet, but best to check with your local reseller. They should be able to provide you with a better estimated date on when they expect to receive the components. You guys accept sponsor? Well, if you want to sponsor us, you're always welcome to sponsor me.
I accept sponsors.
Yeah. We're definitely not too difficult about that. Derek says RGB will help to help the build faster. Yeah, definitely. So half an hour easy, right, Ralph?
Yeah. If there's enough RGB, maybe. Yeah.
Then, without further ado, let's get into the building.
All right. Should we show off the box first, maybe?
Yeah, well, you need the components in there, so I think that's a very good starting point.
Very true. All right.
And this is a big box.
Without further ado, that's it, guys.
Is also the box you can win. Well, we have a different one for the winner, but it's one of these boxes with some very nice content in there. So let's maybe have a look at what's in the box.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, there you go. Da-da-da. Focus, focus. There you go. So, yeah, like Michiel already said, this is not everything. There's still a liquid cooler underneath, but it's basically a care package like Call of Duty vibes here. But yeah, the MAG B650 Tomahawk Wi-Fi with the Kingston memory and the AMD Ryzen 7 7000 series, together with the voice mod and the own 3D license. So that's a pretty good care package. Let's start unpacking this because we need to get to building. I don't know if we have enough time otherwise.
Yeah, so for the winner, the voice mod is a 1-year license. The owned 3D Pro is a discount code. So also the winner of these kits will get both of those cards in there.
Correct. Alrighty, let me just take out all the components and get rid of the box. And then you can keep that for something else later. It's packed very neatly. Whoop.
So now you have some space to build again.
Huh?
So now you have some space to build again.
Exactly, yeah, I need to clear the table for all this stuff. So, what I usually start out with...
This is getting very cozy, Ralph.
What's that, sorry?
That was getting very cozy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for your reference, Michiel is not sitting next to me.
No.
So I'm not actually...
I can make myself disappear, you see?
Yeah. Right. What's this? Oh yeah, that's the actual campaign flyer in there as well.
Astros Re is asking, is it available for purchase or only for giveaway? The box is only for giveaway. It's not available for purchase.
Yes.
Of course, the components are separately, but not the full kit that we'll be using today.
Correct. All right. Let me put this to the side for now.
And you have some more components on the side, right?
I do. Yeah.
To complete the build.
That's why I'm making a little bit more room because you might want to be able to see. So the VGA 6750, sorry, XT. Very nice card from AMD. Yeah, perfect for this build. It's pretty balanced build as well, which
I
is
have
nice.
a drink, but I don't have any popcorn to watch you build.
Yeah,
Cheers, guys.
we should have a microwave here. And the A1000G, together with, like Michiel already said, the Spatium 2 terabyte version for us, but we are using this because we have Windows pre-installed, in case you might notice, but in the actual build
And we'll save some time later on.
Yes, but there's a smaller size in the actual build. And then the CoreLiquid, like we already had. So I guess we'll start out with the main board, shall we? Well, we're gonna put as much stuff on there as possible.
Yeah,
I think
good.
the VGA is one of the last things we'll put in, so I'll put this to the side. At least that's how I usually do it. Everybody builds differently, but I think it's nice to unpack the motherboard first.
K is asking who you are. Well, this is Ralph. Ralph's our new colleague.
Yeah, I recently actually rejoined MSI.
Yeah.
I used to be part of the marketing team, and now I'm part of the product marketing team. So so I switched, and yeah, so now I'm here streaming for you guys.
Yeah, and Ralph is replacing Ja.
Yeah.
So he will be in charge of, well, is in charge of full desktops, monitors, etc.
Yeah, correct. Alrighty. Let's unpack this motherboard. There might be some stuff in there that we need later, but for now...
This camera is a little bit bright. Let me
Is it
make
bright?
it
Yeah.
a little bit better.
Hallelujah. One very beautiful motherboard.
Derek says Mike is going to be sitting back with his feet on the desk shortly. Well, at this point you cannot see me, but I already am.
Yeah, he gets comfortable. Right, so yeah, let's unpack everything first. So the first thing we put in is already the SSD, which we can reach now, which is nice. It goes here, obviously, under the M.2 slot. There's a passive cooler on top, but you'll be seeing that later.
Yeah, so the SSD comes with a heatsink, but today we will not be using that one. We will use the M.2 shield froster on the motherboard itself.
If I can get it off, but yeah. Should be able to. And then of course the processor, which I will showcase later, and then the memory. So this little package I assemble first, so I have like one big clump ready to go. And it can fit in my case more easily, so I don't have to fiddle around while it's in my case. It's actually much nicer. Let's start with the processor, I guess. The heart of the PC. I've never actually taken these processors out of their actual packaging, which is nice. We always have review samples and stuff which are unpacked already. So it's a true unboxing. This information, yeah, you can read, but for now I'll skip over that because we might be short on time otherwise. There you go. Try to keep this in one piece. So as you can see, there's a cover still on top. We basically will press that off with installing the CPU. So you basically open it very carefully. Make sure to not damage the pins. If one of these gets bent, then yeah, it's bye-bye motherboard. And there's also no warranty on that if you do it yourself.
And it's a little bit different than what AMD users may be used to, because with AM5, AMD is also moving to an LGA socket, and that means that the pins are now in a motherboard and not on the CPU anymore. With
Exactly.
AM4, the pins were on the CPU instead of the motherboard. So now, from that sense, AMD looks a bit more like Intel. They've been using LGA for a long time. AMD actually was also already using it on their high-end desktop platform. So the Ryzen Threadrippers were also LGA CPUs. So no more pins, only contact points on the CPU.
I don't know if you can see it.
And the pins in the socket on the motherboard.
Yeah, if you can see the processor, there's also no pins on this anymore. What I do see is a little arrow here in the corner, which corresponds to the place it needs to go into the socket. All MSI boards have like a nice indicator here, which is also an arrow. So that basically means that you match with the arrow. You just place it in very carefully, make sure it's snug, close the valve, or however you call it,
the lid,
and then the cover will automatically pop off, as you can see, and then you'll be safe to throw this into the motherboard box to keep it safe for storage.
CPU installation 101.
Yeah, that's all, guys. It's not that hard, actually.
But always be very careful with this stuff.
Yeah, so this is one of these components that, especially on the motherboard, the pins they bend really easily. So don't do anything crazy with screwdrivers or anything like that. If you wanna clean it, do it with like really soft toilet paper. If you want to take some cooling pasta off or something, paste. Sorry. Just be very careful about it. It's usually best to keep it in the socket as much as possible, and only when you really need to take it out. So if you want to clean it, just clean it like this. Don't take it out or anything like that. Right, next. If I'm going too fast, Michiel, please stop me. But
no.
Next up, the Kingston Fury RAM. My orientation is a little different, so very well packed as well.
So 32 gigabytes, 2 modules of 16 gigabytes. They were also run in dual channel, of course, on this platform.
Yeah. And in the past, I know AMD had some trouble with RAM compatibility, but nowadays they seem a lot better, actually. So that's also good to know. How do I open this without destroying it? Ah, there you go. There you go. Well, there's also an easy explanation for this, but as you can see, there's only one way this fits in the slot. If you want to know which, oh, actually, that's the wrong ones. If you want to know which slot to use, there's a very simple indicator. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. There's a very simple indicator here that shows you basically which slots to use first in a dual channel setup. In a single channel, you would just use the first one, basically. But yeah, in this case, it's from the outside going in. Sometimes it's the other way around, depending on the chipset, motherboard, whatever.
Yeah, I think for all our current series, it's usually the outer slots.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
For
MSI,
closest to the socket, you skip one, then you fill the second one, you skip the third, and you fill the fourth.
Exactly. This only goes in one way, so as you can see, there's a pin in the middle that fits with the RAM.
Yes, with a hammer you can probably also make it fit the other way around, but then it won't work.
So if I would put it in the wrong way, oh, this is actually the correct way, hold on. If I want to try and put it in the wrong way, you see that it really doesn't go down. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you see it meets the pin there and it really doesn't go down. It won't damage your RAM if you don't push too hard, but yeah, I always take the sticker as a reference and put it on the inside, basically.
Derek had a very good joke in YouTube chat. Just don't ram it in. I like it.
Don't ram it. So you open the little connect or the clickers, and then you basically push it until it clicks, and then you're good to go. That's one. And then,
as the Rockman says, I have one 16 gigabyte stick of RAM. Is that okay? It works, but you lose out on performance because your the memory controller in your CPU, for example on AM5, but that was also the case on AM4, they support dual channel memory. So basically the memory bandwidth you will have with 2 modules is higher than with a single one. So 2 modules of 8 gigabytes will be faster than one module of 16 gigabytes. So if your CPU can do dual channel, and basically all CPUs can nowadays, I would always suggest to use 2 RAM sticks for the best performance.
Right. I always save the boxes and I close them up properly in case you need warranty or whatever, you need to send it back. Is that something you do, Michiel?
What do I do? Sorry?
Do you save your boxes of your hardware usually?
Depends on how old the hardware is. Maybe in the beginning, and eventually I still throw it away.
Yeah.
Usually.
If it works eventually, then you can just throw it away. But yeah, if you're still building, then I would recommend keeping them for now.
Spammer of YouTube. One moment.
Oh. So I'll get rid of this little box because we don't need that anymore. Get rid of the RAM, or at least a box of it, because we don't need those anymore. Those are snug, they're fit, as you can see, they don't go anywhere. And then let's start out with the SSD. And that's packed actually very neatly without the cooler. So you have the option to put the cooler on if you want to. Let me take this off so you can see it better.
Oh, I can start a poll in the YouTube chat. That's nice.
Yes.
Okay. Will
Michiel's experimenting with YouTube, guys.
His build eventually work?
Yes or no?
Or no?
But as you can see, this is the frame for it, in case you need a passive cooler.
I see Eric is already commenting in chat. No.
No, Eric doesn't believe in me yet. We'll see. All right, let's start opening up this slot.
Mr. Masterdog says, of course, or he should be fired.
Oh, that's a bold statement. What if the motherboard is dead?
Then we blame you.
We blame me. Okay, so I'm fired if MSI hardware fails. Right. Okay. That works. Alrighty. So yeah, you take off this passive cooler. As you can see, there's some cooling thermal pads on it, which keep your SSD cool. And then it's just a matter of pushing it in and pushing it down, basically. Pushing it in the connector, like so. And then push it down. And then there's this little clicker here. I don't know if it works for this one.
It's the easy M.2 clip. So basically you push it down and then you close the clip.
Yeah.
And that will hold the SSD.
There you go. Perfect.
So you don't have just small screws anymore.
I don't know if you guys saw that, so I'll do it again. But there's a little clip here. You basically push it down, and then you rotate the clip, and then it's secured. So it doesn't come up anymore. And then you can easily screw on the thermal pad again, which I will do now.
Make sure to remove the plastic. There is a protective film.
That's true. Good point. Oh, so satisfying.
Peeling is always the best part, right?
Yeah, peeling is the best. Yeah, do that, because otherwise your stuff might be on fire.
Oh, people have a lot of faith in you.
Everybody's voting no, huh?
No, 93% is voting that your build will work.
Right. Oh, that's not too bad.
And the 7% that voted no is probably Eric.
Well, at least the audience have faith in me. There you go. So I think that covers it for the motherboard for now. Of course, we need power to it and that other stuff, but we can just put this aside for now and start preparing the case. So I will just put this here so you can still see it, but it's not in the way, or it shouldn't be, at least. And let's grab our case. You want to explain something about this case, Michiel? While I
Oh, Ralph, it's getting cozy again.
Oh, you need to remove yourself when I bend over, okay?
Yeah, let's maybe quickly, before we dive into this, take a look at some of the specs of the hardware. Let me go back to my slides. So we're using the Ryzen 7 7700X. That's the one. Hey, you don't have a head right now, Ralph. That's the one Ralph just installed in the motherboard. So this is an 8-core CPU with simultaneous multi-threading, so 16 threads in total. It's the very new Zen 4 architecture from AMD. It's built on 5nm process and has a TDP of 105 watts. We're using a very big liquid cooler today, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. It has boost speeds up to 5.4 gigahertz, so very fast CPU, especially in combination with this architecture. Then let's also take a look at the motherboard. And that is the MAG B650 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. So it has extended heatsink cooling on a VRM. It has 14 power stages specifically for the CPU. All of them are 80 amp smart power stages. It comes with 2.5 gigabit LAN and Wi-Fi 6E connectivity. So the difference between Wi-Fi 6 and 6E is that Wi-Fi 6E also supports the 6 gigahertz frequency band, whereas Wi-Fi 6 only supports the 5 gigahertz frequency band. It has Lightning USB 20G, Audio Boost 5, and a flash BIOS button on the I/O as well. And as you can see, also some nice cooling on the SSD. So that's the M.2 Shield Frosted that Ralph just demonstrated. The memory modules we're using is Kingston Fury. In our situation, it's the version with RGB, and they come with the new AMD Expo profiles. So basically, that's the AMD equivalent of XMP. Today, we're using DDR5 5600 megatransfers per second. It depends a bit on what kind of build you want to do. For a higher end build, you usually go for a little bit faster memory. So for example, in the recommended system with the Ryzen 9, it has 6000 megahertz. But in this kit, it's 5600 megahertz. So nice in the middle. Not only a very fast kit, but also looks very nice with the RGB lighting. But later on, you will definitely see that as well. And then let's get back to you, Ralph.
Right. All right, yeah, let's show the case first, actually. There you go, that's the nice angle.
You may see that we have some different colors on the front of this case.
Exactly.
That's because we didn't have the standard version of the Velox 100p Airflow. So because we didn't have it, but we still wanted to build in it, we took the one from the Maverick gaming bundle. So we took out all the hardware of the bundle and we're only using the case today. But that's why you see the kind of pinkish turquoise color on the MSI logo and on the MPG logo on the front.
Oh, yeah, right.
So in the regular version, it will look slightly different, but in all other aspects, the case is identical. Let me quickly show you the regular version. This is an exploded view. So this is an ATX case. It has plenty of cooling options also for liquid cooling. So this one, for example, also supports a 360 millimeter radiator in the top, and that's also where Ralph will install it later. It also comes with 4 fans already, 3 in the front and 1 in the back. The one in the back is also an addressable RGB one. It has USB Type-C on the front as well. Very nice tempered glass window. And 1 to 6 control board where you can connect all the RGB devices, so you only need a single header to your motherboard, and you can control all your RGB devices to the LED hub on the back of the motherboard tray, basically.
Right.
So that's the case.
That's exactly the case. All right. So the first thing I usually do is start taking the case apart as much as possible, because there will be some cables in there for the I/O panel. I don't know if you can see that on the other cam. The I/O panel here, or the extended I/O. There will be some cable connections for that. There will obviously be some RGB cables, some fans already in there from the factory. So yeah, we need to connect those at some point. And to cable manage properly. I'm not going to do everything really properly today like I should, because we don't have the time for that. That cable management alone could take you like an hour and a half.
Are you going to do it the way I always do it on stream? Like make it look okay from the front side, yes, and just don't show the back?
Exactly, yeah, pretty much. So I'm just going to muffle everything away in the back now, but as neatly as possible.
And eventually you cram all the cables in and you you close it, and as soon as you open it, it explodes.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, let's start taking it apart first. Here you can see there's a nice spot for a radiator. So this is the first roster that we can take off. I see a panel on the side. We need to switch the cameras for that, I think. In this case, very nice. It's just a door, a revolving door, which comes off very nicely. So I will put this away for now. Very cozy with Michiel again.
Always cozy in this stream.
There's obviously a back panel that we screw loose and we take off with the thumb screws.
I see some people in the chat who appreciate the airflow of this case. Yeah, the front is basically open. It's kind of a mesh kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it will pull a lot of air through with the three 120 millimeter fans behind it.
I might actually be able to show that. There you go. Here's the mesh. And you can take that off.
Filter.
It's magnetic. To clean it as well, dust filter. And here's the mesh that Michiel is talking about, I think. Oh, sorry, not in front of your face.
Yeah, it's like not really like the standard mesh you would see in most cases, but it's quite open.
Yep. Yeah, you can still see through it.
Yeah.
If there would be RGB in there, you could still see it, definitely. So if you want to upgrade with some nice fans in the front with RGB, you can definitely do that. If you have the controller for it, obviously, in the space. Yep. So I'll put this away for now, because we don't need this until we've basically finished the build. And then we can put all the filters and the aesthetics back on. And then it should clean up nicely. Then, first, let's have a look at the cables. Maybe I can do it here. Like I said, I already organized it a little bit, but basically this bunch of cables all runs to the I/O panel, as you can see. So it's extra USB. There's some LED buttons on there, start, reset button, audio jack, and I think this is also for USB. And
yeah,
USB-C.
it's the front USB Type-C.
Exactly. Here's some fan cables actually from the fan in the back. That also has RGB, it looks like, because there's an RGB connector. And here you have a little hub for RGB and for fans with a power connection as well. And I think this is supposed to go in the front here. There's also a little connector here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little PCB there as well. Yeah, like Michiel already said, it's extendable with an SSD, or at least there's a tray for it. So you can upgrade if you want. So there's enough space. There's also SSD trays right here on the back. So this will be a closed panel eventually. So you won't see any of this once the computer's done.
Well, the PCB part in the front is actually in the very front of the case. You see a small PCB. That's for the connector pins on the front, because there is some RGB in the front panel, and that will connect through these pins.
Right, yeah,
so
that's why it has to go to this hub.
Yeah, so if you take off the front panel, you don't have to disconnect any cables, because it will have the contact pins there.
So this can already go to the hub?
Yeah.
That's probably, from factory, it's probably already in there, but we disassembled this case for a different purpose, so it might not be. Yeah, these fans I will connect later, because we need to take a look at the RGB eventually anyway, at the total package.
Yeah, there will be more RGB also in the CPU cooler, for example.
Exactly. So we have some loose components. For now, I will turn it around.
See, question in chat, Schnips is asking, is there also a white version? At this point, not for this case. We do have a Gangner 110R in a white version, but we don't have the Velox yet in white. Not at this point, at least. I'm not sure if there will be, but right now there isn't.
Right, so what I usually start doing first, with any case, is check what cables I have for the I/O panel, which we just did, for the front I/O panel, and then see where they go, because sometimes you have to go behind the motherboard or stuff like that, which makes it obviously harder if the motherboard's already in. And you can see here on the motherboard as well, like where some of the connectors already are. So kind of to orientate yourself where the cables already go. It's nice to do beforehand. When you do really small builds, you need to plan this a lot more than I am already doing. Michiel can attest to that. I think he likes small builds.
Yes, I love small builds.
But yeah, in a normal case like this, that should be sufficient. You can also just try and jam it in and see where the cables go. Usually cases nowadays have pretty good cable management systems. So you'll probably have enough cable and enough room.
Yeah, that's the benefit of a bigger case. It's easier to build in. It's easier to properly manage your cables. That's always a challenge in a small one, but that's also what I like about it, to have a little bit of a challenge when building.
Exactly. So here, for example, you see the LED, and for the start connector, start button, and the power LED connectors. I know that this goes in the bottom of the motherboard. But I can already tell, the cable's long enough to go under. So we can do that actually after. In this case, we have some nice rubber holes here to pull cables through. So like as you can see, so it should be more than sufficient actually to do cable management afterwards in this case. So let's turn it around then and start putting some stuff in, I guess. Correct me if I'm wrong, Michiel. It's been a while since I've built a PC. But none of this stuff actually changes that much, I don't think. It just gets easier over the years.
What order do you use when building?
What order? As in what components first?
Yeah.
I usually, like I said, do the motherboard first.
Yeah.
Then in a case like this, it doesn't really matter if you put the motherboard in first or the power supply, I would say.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, motherboard then first or power supply, then the liquid cooler on top, and then afterwards the VGA.
I would personally suggest to do the liquid cooler first, because now you can easily access it. It's way harder when the motherboard is in there.
Yeah, the only fear with that is, in this case, probably doesn't matter because I have enough room here. But
yeah, it should be fine.
Sometimes you can't get your motherboard in anymore.
That's true. In certain cases, when especially like smaller form factor ones, sometimes the liquid cooler is like stretching over your motherboard. Then it's definitely a different story.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I guess I've had some smaller builds in the past. That's why I'm so careful.
Nasty Yoda is asking, can you do a build with the MEG Prospect 700R? I am actually still waiting for that case, but I'm definitely planning on doing a build with that as well. But at this point, I don't know yet when that will be. But I'm definitely trying to get my hands on a sample. So hopefully we can also do a build in that in the future. Mr. Masterdox is asking, Mike, if you had to build a small system today, would you go Intel or still AMD? They both run hot these days. Good question. At this point, when I would go really small, I would probably go with AMD and thermal limited. AMD is a little bit more efficient at this point. Intel is usually slightly faster, but with a bit higher power consumption. AMD is a little bit more efficient. So I feel like for a small form factor one, I would probably go with 7600X and then thermal limited in order to get a bit lower power consumption as well.
Right. I would go always Intel and Nvidia, to be honest.
For me, it's just, yeah, it depends on...
Depends on flavor.
Yeah, for me, it also depends on what they have at that specific point. Like sometimes it will be Intel, sometimes it will be AMD. For a bigger build at this point, it also depends very much on what you want to do with it. But if you want to have like the strongest multi-core performance, 3900K is hard to deny at this point.
Oh, definitely, definitely. No, I'm not saying this because the performance is bad or worse from AMD. Definitely not.
Yeah,
it's just my preference.
It depends very much per use case.
Yeah, everybody has. I'm just a fanboy. I grew up in the old school days where Intel was king.
Indiana Roy is asking, can you do a comparison with 60 watt limit on AMD? I would say thermal limiting is better than power limiting at this point because it will automatically basically max out to a certain temperature, but it will still get the maximum performance out of it towards that temperature. So based on your cooler, that will differ. If you're interested in that, make sure to check out our AMD 7000 series and X670E live stream, because there we also demonstrated how this works, and we also did some comparison in, for example, power consumption.
I buy best price performance. Says
yeah,
Mr.
I agree,
That's,
Mr. Master.
You're smart. That's
yeah.
what you should do.
Yeah.
I mean, don't take anything from me. I just have a fanboy preference.
If you want to do a very specific build, sometimes a different component than with a best price performance can be a better option because it may have certain characteristics that fit your build more.
It really depends on what you want to do with your build as well.
Yeah.
Because, for example, Ryzen Threadrippers.
Yeah, if you want to have like crazy multi-threaded performance, then it's hard to beat a Threadripper. But for gaming, for example, the 7700X will outperform any Threadripper CPU.
Yep. So yeah, that's... Ralph is taking more breaks than my local builder. Well, Michiel keeps talking, so...
Sorry.
I can't continue, but it's fine.
I will stay silent for now. Here, I will make myself disappear.
So in the meanwhile, I opened up the the box for the liquid cooler. Just to check if there's any different brackets in it that I need to install beforehand. I mean, we could do it. We have a big hole here, so we could do it afterwards. But actually on Michiel's recommendation, he said I would do it beforehand because it's nice to already have it on there, which I totally agree on. So let's open this baby up, if it actually opens up.
Ooh. Hello ASEAN Venom, welcome, welcome.
And take it out. Can you see this or not? There.
Yeah, that works.
That's better. Well.
Okay, so I'm ending the poll. We have 124 votes and 92% thinks that your build will eventually work at the end of the stream.
So there's a couple who say no.
Still quite few.
Yeah,
92% thinks it will work.
We'll see, we'll see. So obviously 3 fans for on the radiator. What's that, sorry? Oh, I thought you said something.
No, I was completely silent.
There's a package deal here with a lot of screws, cooling paste, anything you need to install this, and the brackets, which we can already install now actually, and the radiator itself, which I will unpack later, and then here's the cooling block with the pump, I think.
No, the pump is in the radiator.
Pump is in the radiator.
Yes.
Okay, in this case. So this is LGA 1700, so that's Intel, so I don't need that one for today. So I can actually just use these. So this can go back to the hardware pile again, for now.
Here's a quick overview of the liquid cooler. So it has radiator pump design, dual ball bearing fans, a reservoir RGB in the fans and in the block. So that's Visic Light ARGB. And evaporation proof tubing. So it's the CORELIQUID C360. So 360mm radiator with 3 120mm fans.
And then there's a couple of separate brackets in here. And I need to check which one is the correct one for this socket actually. Because I haven't installed this socket till this date. And then I'll need the screws for later as well, so I'll just sort these on top. Normally I would recommend taking some small like glass cups or like teacups or coffee cups to put your screws in, so you don't lose them. Because I've lost a lot of screws in the past, and if you need them, then that's not very nice. Especially when you have like carpet on the floor, like black carpet, like we do. It's impossible to find screws if you drop them.
Yeah, Derek, we actually also have 2 liquid coolers with the pump in the CPU block, and those are indeed Asetek made ones. Those are the CORELIQUID K series and the CORELIQUID S series.
Alright, how did this work again? I actually need to check.
Always use the manual.
So we do need to screw these off for the bracket to fit. There you go, that's one.
Asian Venom is asking, how does MSI know who to choose from for the winner at the end of the stream? It will go randomized. Gleam will draw the winner.
Yeah, it's not up to us, it's completely up to the software.
Yeah.
So it's random.
So it's, yeah, indeed, it's a random draw.
As random as it can be. There. Then we need to put something over the back plate to see which one would fit. But I think there's only one in this case. Nope, that's not it. Hold on, which one? Okay,
I should really get my popcorn.
What? Sorry? Yeah, you need to grab your popcorn now. I haven't done a lot of AMD builds, so this is also new for me. Let's have a look. Is there a manual?
Should be. If you haven't thrown it away already.
Oh yeah, hold on. grab your popcorn, Michiel.
Yeah, especially for liquid coolers, I would always recommend to carefully read the manual because there's quite a lot of brackets and stuff in there, and they're all different for different sockets. And the mounting mechanism can differ quite a lot as well in different sockets.
There's no manual in there, Michiel.
There's no manual?
No.
You made it disappear? There should be a manual in there.
Oh, wait, okay.
You found it?
No manual, but I think I might know how it works. Or I think I do.
Let me pull it up for you.
Yeah, please do.
So if you ever need a manual and you lost it for some reason,
you can find it on the website.
Ralph did. You can always find it on our website.
No, I'm pretty sure I didn't see a manual.
So you are using AM5 in this situation.
All right, so we shouldn't have removed this.
You do need the original clips.
All right.
Yeah.
I assumed too much then.
You can simply use the AMD stock backplate.
Why don't you say that while I'm screwing it off, Michiel?
Last time I actually also used this cooler in an Intel build, and there you actually do need a separate backplate.
Yeah. Well, for AMD sometimes as well, but...
Yeah, it depends a bit per cooler.
Yeah.
But in this situation you will be using the clips.
Oh, hold on.
This also differs per MSI liquid cooler, by the way. We have some A-stack based core liquids, and those have a different mounting mechanism than this model, for example.
Yeah, and different sockets do use different configurations, right?
Yes.
And then they say AMD should be the easy one to mount. But I'm pretty sure these are for actually putting on the... we'll see that later though, actually to put on the...
Yeah, you basically...
Cooler, to click it on the cooler, and then you can mount it on top. Which one I still need to check, but yeah, like I said, I don't have a manual. So keep it open, Michiel, please, in case I need it.
Spiros Course asking, for Ryzen 7 7700X, which cooler would you recommend? I would say go for the all-in-one liquid cooler. For a 7700X, I would go at least 240 millimeters. If you can go higher, that will make your system more silent and possibly perform a little bit better. Because basically what AMD Ryzen CPUs will do by default nowadays, latest generation, they will just max out at 95 degrees. If you have a better cooler, you will have slightly better performance at that 95 degrees Celsius. But on the other hand, you don't lose a lot of performance also when you thermal limit it lower. But yeah, I would personally go 240 millimeter radiator or up. Or if you're very much into optimization, into underclocking, undervolting, then you can of course go lower. You will lose a little bit of performance, but you can get it very efficient if you fiddle around with the settings. So you can go lower if you want.
Alrighty. So yes, please remove the sticker before you install, like it says on the sticker.
Yep.
But I forgot that almost. Some coolers actually come with the cooling paste already on it. In this case, it's not, because it's very flexible for different sockets. So we need something else. Yeah, so here we need to find out what to click on top, or which one to use.
Indeed, Mr. Masterdox, it's always more fun when things go wrong, right?
Still laughing at me. If you could pull up the manual, please.
There
then
we
I
go.
can see which one we need. Oh, it's that one. Okay. So it was the tall one. See if that corresponds at all. Crazy enough, it does not. Are you sure it's this one, Michiel?
Yes.
Alright. Alrighty. Oh, scroll up. So yeah, this part like I'm just following the
Oh
manual,
wait,
guys.
no,
It's easy
sorry,
as-
I scrolled to the wrong one. I was just looking AMD. Here you
Right. Oh, so
go.
I
It's
was
the
right.
Threadripper
Yeah.
one. You don't need it. You don't need it. You just need the clips.
Yeah, I need this one, right? Yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah. And then you need to attach the. So make sure you have the right orientation.
Like that. Yep.
Yeah.
And then you click it on, and that's it. And the rest. You
Always
don't
make
need.
sure that it properly clicks.
Yeah, they clicked.
Yeah.
They clicked. There. You can also take them off, but they definitely clicked. And they're pretty stuck as well, as you can see. I can't pull them off with one hand, so it's pretty sturdy.
Merrick's asking, is this Ralph first time building a full PC on stream? Yes, on stream it is.
On stream? No, actually no. But
You built on stream before?
I've done it with influencers, but not on our product marketing stream.
Yeah.
And
On the MSI Insider stream, yes, the first time.
yes. And it's been a while, guys. I haven't been building PCs for I think almost 2 years now. So I need to figure some small things out. Some things have changed, like the sockets for AMD. So yeah, and sometimes you just not every PC is the same, you know. So sometimes you build with different brands, mostly MSI for us, obviously. But yeah, I haven't built with this specific cooler before, so there's a lot of brackets involved, and then you stress out because you're streaming.
ACM Venom says there's no thermal paste already on that. No, it actually comes with a little tube included. Benefit of this is that if you remove your cooler, you actually have some more thermal paste left to reapply it again. If you have pre-applied thermal paste, you can only use it once and that's it.
No
and then you have to
excuse.
buy separate thermal paste.
Alrighty, so I know where the socket goes. It's already kind of pre-installed. I think I will put that in once the motherboard's in, because I have more than enough space in this case to screw it in later. And otherwise, I have too much of a big clump to, you know, everything might be damaged if I do it like that. So I'll put this away for now, and actually just take the motherboard in the case.
Hussein says, no excuse, we are judging.
Yeah, I read that already.
Nice.
So this motherboard comes with a pre-installed I/O panel. I think most motherboards nowadays have that.
Yeah, especially the higher end ones. So the gaming models, they basically all come with this nowadays.
Yeah, but if you don't have this, you need to click in a separate.
Yeah, you need to put in the shield first.
Shield first, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. All right, let's make sure I'm not crushing any cables.
DK Panther says, I don't see description for this build. Is it Intel or AMD? Well, in the bottom you can actually see what are the specs of this system. It's AMD based. So it's an AMD Ryzen 7700X on an MAG B650 Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard.
All right, let's put this in, guys. So there's a bunch of screws on this motherboard, and there's already pre-installed screws in the case, so they should just click on top, or you know, they should match exactly. So basically stick in the I/O panel first to make sure the orientation is correct, make sure there's no cables in between, and then carefully drop the motherboard in the case, and then once it clicks, it did click just now, but you can see here that the screws are lined up. So the motherboard is already pretty sturdy. I can't move it anymore. So yeah, that should be in the right position. And then let's put one screw in for now, so it doesn't fall out if we decide to move the case or anything like that. I usually just put one screw in the middle, so it's actually stuck, and then put the rest of the screws in later. I don't know if that's a thing you do, Michiel, but always seems to work for me.
Yeah, if you want to keep it in the right place, that definitely works.
Because maybe later we want to pull some cables underneath to make it look nicer. You know, you never know beforehand, so I just put one screw in, you know, so it's easy to disassemble quickly if I want to. Right, moving on. Do you want to do the cooler first or the power supply?
Whatever you prefer.
All right, I'll start with the power supply and then.
Wouldn't you screw the motherboard in completely then, because then you can just put it straight up vertically, the case. Makes your life easier when installing the power supply.
I already can, because I already screwed one screw in. It's not going to fall out.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. So those, for me, those are the finishing touches, like make sure all the screws are in, stuff like that. But yeah, everyone has a different method.
ACM Phantom says, is it easier to do the front AO wires before putting the motherboard in? I always do it when it's in, but I make sure that I don't have the graphics card in yet, because then that's when it becomes harder to reach. This is an ATX, so here you would still be kind of fine. But if you have a micro ATX or even smaller, definitely connect that first before you put your GPU in.
We can already start doing that actually if you want to, because the motherboard right now is already in. So we could technically, maybe the other cam is better for this.
Gigaram says, yeah, I really like this case, even got room for water pump and 2 radiators. Yes, definitely has. There's a lot of space for liquid cooling if you want.
Yep. Cool, different view.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, there we go.
There you go. So as you can see, all the cables are now loose. So let's check out which cables we can already connect and where to pull them through. Oh, wait.
Just gonna get comfy again.
Oh, he's gonna grab his popcorn again.
Oh, I disappeared.
I'm gonna put Michiel in jail, okay? Right, so these are the fan connectors for the front. So I'm gonna put these aside for 1 second. This we already put in the RGB PCB.
Yeah, guys, I'm definitely enjoying myself here. Usually I'm always the one building there. So it's nice to just relax on this side and watch Ralph build. It's very enjoyable.
So you have all these cable ties, cable tie options right here in the case. I don't know if you can see that, but you can put bands like
tie wraps?
Tie wraps and stuff through it to manage it. And there should normally be like a channel of cables going down beside your holes here, and then maybe through the right, so you can manage it properly, so you can lose all that cable in the case. In this case, I don't have the tie wraps for it and don't have the time to do it properly, so I'm just going to show you how I connect things and organize things a little bit. Here you can see this is the top fan, so those need to go in soon as well. This is also the I/O panel, so this is the LED only, I think. Yep. So in this case, I would manage it here somewhere, and then to the side, because it needs to go under and on the bottom of my motherboard eventually. So I will pull these through the holes here underneath. What are you laughing at, Michiel?
Gigaran says, I always find it hard to watch someone build. I want to wade in and do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm taking my time as well, you know, because I'm also thinking while explaining and stuff. So
we have 2 more hours left until security kicks us out of the building.
Okay,
no
I'll
pressure.
try and speed it up. Yeah, if it's too boring for you, then but you know, for people first time that haven't built a case yet, this might be a nice explanation.
Yeah,
so
it should be fine.
I'm
We're 1 hour in and
have
have 2 hours left. So.
Yeah. So this is already, I can tell, this is already an RGB connector. Let's see where this goes. This goes to the front of the case.
Mr. Mastodog says, no MSI branded Velcro cable management straps coming. Do you mean like these? I happen to have one right beside me right now.
I'm not familiar with that.
But I'm very sure that Ralph is just doing the quick and dirty way today.
Yes, pretty much.
Without cable management on the back.
Yeah, because I can already see this RGB connector, so I'm already going to put this in here. Because there's only one place that can go. And then all of this, pretty much, not actually all, let's take a look at the motherboard. So the USB-C connector goes, oh, sorry, switch cam please.
Let me show you. Yeah.
USB-C connector goes here, so I probably want to pull that through the side. And then the connectors for the power go here, GPF1 connector, or GFP1 connector, sorry. And I always need to figure out the actual order of that again.
You don't know them by heart?
Nope, I don't know them by heart.
Let me give you the graph.
I always Google them on my phone or something, and then it's very
Yeah, I've
easy.
done it so many times that I know where everything goes.
Yeah. And then there's, so let's check where all the system fan goes here, the pump fan, so that's all for the liquid cooler later. So if I want to connect some more fans, then they can either be on the bottom here or on the side here. There's also a fan connector, and here's a fan connector. So I have plenty. I just need to make sure that I pull the cables to the right places. So I will just do that now as quickly as possible.
Zero Fame says it's relaxing. Just open up, blow dust, clean fans, change thermal paste. It's better than meditation, right?
It is a form of meditation, and definitely it can be very relaxing to build a PC. That's one fan connector.
Except for when you finished it and you try to boot it up and it doesn't work, then it's all gone. Relaxation.
Yeah, or half your fans don't work, or the RGB is not connected properly. Then you have some figuring out to do. You know, a lot, especially when you have a lot of cables running through your PC. It's not fun. But the fun part is actually building it like a Lego house. You know, that's how I see it. It's almost like Legos.
Mr. Masterdog says just not on camera, judging eyes. I'm always still very relaxed when you guys are watching me build.
That's there. And this is also an RGB socket, so I will also put that in the collection.
Pike's asking, when are you going to make RAM memory, MSI? No plans at this point. We have some partners that are very good at this. So for example, Kingston, the memory we're using today. So at this point, no plans for us to do that ourselves.
There you go, that connector there. And then this one goes also to the bottom. I will show you what I'm doing in a sec. I just need to pull the cables through the right holes.
Gigaram says, I've built loads of computers and I still get butterflies when I press the power button for the first time.
Butterflies even. It's very nice. Where is the RGB? Oh,
and that's always the trickier part when you have builds with a lot of RGB. It usually means more cables.
Yeah.
But also more FPS.
If you see a full-on RGB build with like a lot of RGB fans, LED strips and stuff, the cable management is probably, you know, in the back somewhere, like terrible. Because it's at some point it just gets impossible to cable manage properly.
It depends a bit on the case.
I bet Michiel can do it, because
in a case like this, you can hide everything very well.
Yeah.
You've got plenty of space to.
Michiel's very good at that stuff because he builds small PCs for a hobby. So I think he can.
Yeah, and there it's sometimes really a struggle to make everything fit.
Yeah, it takes a lot of planning, right?
Yeah, like my PC as well. I need to do everything in a specific order, otherwise it won't work.
Yeah. Do I have a fan connector left somewhere? Yeah.
I actually also had to get different memory modules because the tubes of my radiator, they couldn't fit over the memory modules I had, and then I couldn't close the side anymore because it's so small.
Jesus.
So I needed to get low profile memory modules so the tubes can go over, because I don't have any space to put them around. So they really have to go over the memory module.
That sounds terrible.
And also I don't have a single millimeter of spare above my radiator because the power supply is directly on top.
Right. All right. So don't look at this side anymore, because normally you clean this up. Everybody, please clean this up.
That's also why this side of the case has a closed panel.
Don't take my lead on that, but we're short of time.
Damn, Gigaram says you should see mine with 22 RGB fans. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Holy moly.
22 fans.
Can you switch cams, please, Michiel,
yes.
for me?
There we go.
Right. So I pulled all the cables through the most corresponding gate holes that I have. So now it's just connecting the motherboard everywhere, which is very easy. Nowadays it's a lot easier, actually. back in the day, you had some connectors that shared the same, some connections that shared the same connector, but had a very different application. So sometimes you got confused, and then your computer didn't boot. This goes on the RGB, JA RGB. That's the hub from the back.
Gamble says, in my case, I'm afraid to open the back panel. It's a mess.
Yeah,
hey, but it's the back. No one sees it.
You're
Just
not
keep
alone.
It closed.
You're not alone. You're not alone. Definitely not alone. But you should probably clean that up at some point. Okay, so that was the little hub in the back that I just connected to the RGB. This is the USB-C from the I/O panel on the top. System fan. So this is one of those or those. Doesn't really matter where they go, except for not these two, which is the CPU fan and the pump fan. Actually, did I accidentally use the CPU fan? No,
Mr. Masterdoc says about the 22 fans, so much light, it's like an Eindhoven themed build.
It's
next
like
week
it's a museum.
I think next week it's Glow again, right?
I don't know if it's next weekend, but
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it's always somewhere middle November.
I haven't actually seen Glow in full glory. I've seen it during the pandemic, and it wasn't that interesting then. But so I'm looking forward to that actually.
For people who are curious what we're talking about, here in the city where our European headquarters are, it's Eindhoven, and they always have a festival, and it's all about light. So they've got like very special light effects, and it's throughout the city. So you walk throughout the city, and you've got like these very artistic light things everywhere.
Light shows.
Light shows, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
It's pretty cool.
All right,
and it's always in November.
Yeah, like I said, USB-C system fans are connected, so the RGB hub is connected, and then we need to connect the audio from the I/O panel, which is right here. It only fits one way. Just look at the plug, and you'll figure it out. It's not very, it's not rocket science.
Action Brother says, Mike, is an MSI liquid cooler you're using? I'm using an Asetek one because I'm using a very small radiator. It's 92 millimeters. So there is only one option basically. That's the Asetek one.
And then I'm still missing one thing, which I thought I put through, which is the...
But Asetek is also a partner of MSI, so we also make liquid coolers together basically.
And
not this specific model, but we have several Asetek made liquid coolers in our lineup. JJ's PC build says, I dare not open the rear panel of my case, the cover may not go back on.
Oh gosh.
Been there, done that with certain builds. Especially like the older cases, they were sometimes very limited on cable management space. And if you then had a lot of cables, it could be challenging.
Right, I already had it in the front. I was looking for a cable in the back, but I already had it in the front. So here's the bunch of cables that I meant, which is the reset button, the HD LED button, power reset, all that stuff.
Mr. Masterdoc says 92, does that cool better than a low profile Noctua air cooler? Yes, it does. The low profile Noctua air coolers are, I have a 5600X. It would already be very much on the border, and a 92 millimeter radiator can cool it fine.
So I think I still remember where the power switch goes, which is there. Please tell me if I'm wrong, Michiel.
Sorry, what was the question?
Can you pull up the JFP1?
Here you go. So you got like one missing pin?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, like directly next to those.
Yeah,
those are the power switch ones. Then the two left of those are the power LED ones.
The two underneath I need, which is reset switch. Because they're easier to connect if you just grab them in a couple.
That's true.
And then put them in like that. Because otherwise you're fiddling for a long time. Let me pull out the RGB connector for now, because that's in the way. Then this was the HD LED, which we don't actually need because, well, we'll put it in nonetheless. It goes on the bottom, on the right. There.
Bottom right or bottom left?
Left, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm dyslexic. and a moron.
Dyslexic and left and right are two different things.
Yeah, people with dyslexia, they actually
They struggle with left
they
and right?
struggle with left and right, or
Okay.
saying the right one, actually.
Okay.
Apparently, which I read or heard sometimes. Maybe it's an excuse, I don't know. And then the power LED, which has a plus and a minus. Can you pull it up again for the plus and the minus? I don't know if it matters that much, but I don't see a plus and minus here anywhere. The plus goes on the inside. Okay.
It basically interconnects, so it doesn't matter.
Huh?
You can switch them around.
Yeah, usually they still work.
Mr. Masterdog says, always one of the most annoying parts of build, the front panel connects. Yeah, they're very tiny pins, of course. So.
Yeah, and they break easily, so you kind of still have to be careful.
Neolinks also says, no, there is a directional dyslexia. I have it. I didn't know it was related to each other.
So I was not wrong.
Or you're just not the only person with that excuse.
No, I had it when getting my driver's license as well. Like my teacher would say, like, "Hey, go left," and I
you
would
went
just turn
right.
right, very convinced that it was actually left. I don't know, like it's very weird. Let's put back the RGB connector that I just pulled out, because those also tend to break very easily.
Derek says, why is dyslexia such a hard word to spell? It's probably to annoy people who have it.
The funny thing is usually people that have it do know how to spell it, and then other people don't.
Yeah, probably because they wrote it so many times.
Exactly.
JJ is asking, are the fans in the case 92mm or 120? These are all 120mm fans.
Right.
AKA SRK says, is 650 watt enough for this build? Yeah, I would say yes, if you don't overclock too much with it. We're actually using a 1000G power supply today, so quite overkill. It's a 1000 watt power supply. Also leaves some room for upgrades in the future, but with the 650, especially if you do some power optimization in your BIOS and stuff, I would say you're definitely able to run this system off of 650 watts.
All right. Then I'm still left over with an LED, which I don't have a connector for. Where does that actually go?
You don't have a connector for?
To the I/O panel, which is
Oh, you got the LED switch that goes to the PCB, to your fan
to
hub.
the little. Oh, it goes on top. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it should have been.
Because then with
on
that
the top.
button you can control all the RGB lighting that is connected to the hub. So you can actually also control your liquid cooler through that then.
That's pretty sick.
Indiana Roy says, I don't think 2 hours is enough for cable management. No, that's why we won't do very extensive cable management, just very basic, so it looks pretty on one side and it looks horrible on the back.
It looks like this. You know, it's not great, but that's all we can do with the time we got. All right. So one more to connect, which is the USB. That only goes in one way. You can see the little connector here. It has like a little cutout on the top. And you need to be careful with this one, because if you bend the pins, then it won't work. And then it's really hard to get it in. So make sure it's nice and straight. And
Mr. Masterdog says, without RGB stuff, cable management is a breeze. Yes, that makes a lot of difference. That's true.
So now that everything's connected, I'm pretty confident that I can screw the rest of the screws for the motherboard already in. Because it looks like we have enough space for all the power cables and stuff, and nothing needs to go underneath the motherboard. So I'll just do that as well. Well, Michiel, maybe you can run through the hardware configuration again for the people just tuning in.
Because you're going to do the power supply in a minute. We haven't talked about that one yet, so maybe let's have a look. We're using the MPG A1000G today. Yes, it is on the higher end of what you would need for this build. You could probably do with a bit lower end model as well, but it has some very nice features. So it's an 80+ gold certified power supply. It's fully modular, meaning that you can take every cable out of it. So you only have to connect the cables that you actually need, and you can leave the rest out. Also makes your life a little bit easier in terms of cable management. This is single rail power supply. For example, our MEG series, the very high end one. That one has a switchable design as well, so you can choose between single or multi-rail. This is always a single rail one. It has 100% Japanese capacitors, and it has a zero fan mode. And there's actually a button on the back of the power supply where you can switch this on or off. And if you enable the zero fan mode, That will mean that if the total load is below 40% of what the power supply's total capacity, so this is a 1000 watt power supply, so if the load is under 400 watts, so underneath the 40% of the total capacity, then the fan will stop spinning. So only if you go over 400 watts of power consumption of your system, so for example when you're gaming or if you're doing other very intensive stuff, then the fan will start spinning.
Mr. Masterdox is saying we should play the Portal end song if Rel succeeds. Well, we have something else. I will do a presidential speech.
Let me also quickly show you the SSD. So we're using the Spatium M480 SSD. In this situation, we're using the 2 terabyte version, but it also comes in 1 terabyte and I believe also 500 gigabytes. This is a PCI Express Gen 4 SSD. With read speeds of up to 7,000 megabytes per second and write speeds up to 6850 megabytes per second. This is specifically for the 2 terabyte model. It differs some. If you go for a especially smaller SSD, you will see that the write speeds are a little bit lower. The read speeds will still be very high. So very fast SSD, and this is the version with the heatsink you see here, but because we have a motherboard with M.2 shield frozzer on there, we're not using the heatsink, we're using the heatsink that is on the motherboard already. Mr. Masterdox says, over 3 times as fast as my simple M.2. Yeah, it depends a bit on what you do, if it matters or not. Like for gaming, you won't really get more FPS if you have a faster SSD. Of course, in the future, if we'll have like direct access storage kind of things, it may make a bigger difference, of course. And if you're throwing around with very large files, then a faster SSD will help. But like for standard gaming usage, it shouldn't be that much of a difference. Nasmos asking, does MSI have any PSU with the new 16-pin power connector? Yeah, we actually do the MEG series and also the of this MPG power supply series. There are also PCIe 5 versions, and those come with the 12 plus 4-pin power connector. AKA SRK says MPG A1000G can handle 2 times 4090. That will be very much on the edge, especially if you want to have a CPU next to that, then you will go beyond 1000 watts. So then I would suggest going for an even higher power supply. Wildcard says only affect game load times, not actual FPS. Yeah, very true. Let me go back to Ralph's top cam.
Yep. So, since we have enough room as it is anyway, I decided to put in the radiator and water cooler block, but first I need to prepare it by putting on the fans. Makes it much easier to install afterwards. And there's multiple arguments to be made for how the fans go. So Michiel, how would you do it?
I would put the fans on the bottom of the radiator.
Yes.
With the airflow going upwards. So you use the top as an outtake and you use the 3 front ones as an intake and the rear also as an outtake. That's how I would do it.
All right. I see some people putting fans in between the radiator and the top of the case.
Yeah, also possible. But this is the case with the tempered glass side panel. I think it also looks prettier because you have addressable RGB fans.
Definitely.
But yeah, it shouldn't make too much of a difference. You can also put them on top.
Alrighty. So I have 3 fans here.
But I wouldn't use them as intakes here.
Yes. I'm actually checking on how to tell where the intake is and where the output is. Normally there's little arrows on the fans, but in this case there's not. So I would just put the logos down, but that might be wrong.
Always the housing, so basically where you see the, like currently the back of the fan, where you see the housing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the air will come out basically. So you have to mount those against the radiator and then it will pull the air upwards.
Yeah, so logo inside, like I said, yeah. That's usually the case, but not for every fan.
Mr. Masterdox is asking, does that even fit? What do you mean exactly?
You can see this, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ralph, pro tip, make sure that you already put the cables of the fans in the right direction for your cable management later, so they don't come out at the front side.
Yep. Yeah, we need to check how the radiator fits properly. I think I'm gonna put the cables of the liquid cooler in the front. That's usually the best
tubes
way.
on the right is definitely most logical here.
And like that, so
Yep.
that should fit. So then the cables of the fan, I don't know if you can see that, but need to be in
The radiator, yeah,
back
Mr. Masterdox. And in this case, you can fit a 360 on top, so it shouldn't be an issue. Listener is asking what GPU is going in. It will be the Radeon RX 6750 XT Gaming X Trio. So quite a big one. So I think in this case, actually, if you would put the radiator in the front, I'm not sure if this specific graphics card would still fit. Because that will take away some space for the graphics card. It's a triple fan graphics card, so it's quite long.
So we have these long screws that we need to secure the fans into the radiator, which I will do now, which is a long process, so feel free to keep talking.
Yeah, I'll try to answer some more questions in chat. JJ was asking earlier just a question, do you think this case in the future can be a candidate for a full water cooling build for the processor and the graphics card? Yeah, I also want to do maybe something like that with Prospect, because I still want to do a build in the future with that, and it's also it's an even bigger case, an extended ATX model that also has a lot of options for liquid cooling.
It's going to be tight, but it's possible.
Yeah, like for example, in this case, if you would use like the RTX 4090 Supreme Liquid, that one comes with a 240mm together with, for example, this 360mm all-in-one for the CPU. You can fit it just fine into the Velox as well. Let me see. Gigaram says I would build a custom water cooling in this case. Yeah, also a very nice option. You definitely have enough space for that as well.
Oh, that's the wrong screws. Hold on. Couple more, Michiel. Any more questions? Now's the time to ask.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling back to see if I missed any before. Jester says I got a cheap case and not a lot of room for cables. Yeah, it's usually the bit more premium cases usually have better cable management possibilities for sure. AKA SRK says RGB is more FPS. Definitely.
Can't have enough RGB.
Nesma was saying, I miss the good old days when a 360mm clearance was all you needed for a GPU. Yeah, now some cards definitely go beyond that. Yeah. But also, what is very tricky, for example, for small form factor builds is also the thickness that is increasing quite a lot in recent graphics cards. So 2-slot used to be plenty for even high-end graphics cards with the 10 series. With the 20 series, you still had some higher-end cards you could fit in 2 slots, for example. Now with the 40 series, they're very thick, and also for AMD, it's a bit more doable usually, but also the higher-end ones, they're way over 2 slots already.
Right. So as you can see in the case here, there's 3 perfect slots for the cables, and I also mounted the cables accordingly, so it goes in like this, so the cables are nice and tucked away neatly. So I will put that in accordingly.
By the way, there's another trick on the top. You will have on the other side of the radiator. I would do that first, Ralph, because now your pump header is coming out at the wrong side. It's coming out at the front.
I might need to take something out to fit this radiator actually, because I don't think I can get it in this way, so I need to remove the back fan.
Ah, Mr. Masterdox was right. He was already doubting if it would fit. Yeah. Got a good eye, Mr. Masterdox.
Very good eye. Sorry, what did you say about the rest of the radiator?
You have the header for the pump.
Right.
That one comes out at the front side of the radiator now. You may want to move that to the rear. There is actually also a small cutout on the other side, so you can move that cable to the other side.
I'm not sure which one you mean, but I will check in a sec. Right, let's put this down for a second.
Ayash is asking, can you add radiator for the front? Yes, you can actually also put the radiator in the front here. Right now we're using a graphics card. We will use a graphics card that is quite long, a triple fan one. And of course, if you put a radiator in the front, you will lose some space there. So we're mounting it in the top now, but you can also fit a radiator in the front for sure.
I'm assuming you meant this cable.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Right. Yeah, so I moved that over to the other side.
Yeah. Yes.
Then now it should fit. Carefully place this in the case so it doesn't fall in.
Other way around.
Yeah. It's still a close one though. There you go. Perfect. Now I have to hold it in place kind of, so I can't really show you, but I will just screw it into the top. I've shown you the top before. As you can see, fits right in, and I will pull out the cables later. Or actually,
Mr. Masterdox says only just. Well, just is just enough, right?
Just enough, exactly. Actually, usually when, at least that's what I noticed, is the better, like the closer the fit is, usually the better the computer looks.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. AKA SRK says, is there a temperature sensor on the radiator? No, it's actually the pump inside the radiator. I think you mean the square in there. That's the pump.
See if these are long enough. Oh. See, and
all
this
the cables
is why...
to the other side.
Huh?
All the cables to the other side.
Yeah, it's a hassle, but we will get there.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of cables because in this situation, because it's a 360 liquid cooler with RGB, you will get the fan cable for each fan. You will get the RGB cable for each fan, so that's already 6 cables. Then you have the cable for the pump, so that's 7th cable, and then you have the RGB of the block, so that's 8 cables in total you will need to get from the front to the rear for the liquid cooler alone. Eventually you can all interconnect them, so in the back you can still neatly manage it properly.
If you have the stuff for it.
Yeah.
Do you usually use cable ties, or do you like the bands more?
I usually use cable ties. At least if I'm doing a more permanent build.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with smaller builds, I guess.
Yeah, bands are quite a bit bigger. So
yep.
Cable ties in small form factor, cable ties are easier.
Okay, I'm just gonna secure this cooler first before I drop it, because this doesn't look great.
FRC Eagle says, and they ask you why you prefer an air cooler. Yeah, air cooler also have their benefits, but the thing is, especially with the higher end CPUs these days, it becomes very difficult, like for high end CPUs, to cool them with an air cooler. Some air coolers can perform quite well, but they're usually very, very big, and they will make your life a lot harder on the other side of your build, basically.
Ooh.
So they also block a lot of the view, and they make it hard to access your SSD, your RAM, stuff like that. So there are arguments to be made for both liquid and air coolers. But yeah, nowadays, especially with higher end, if you're going like Core i9, Ryzen 9, it becomes hard to cool with an air cooler. At least at maximum performance.
Right, I'm gonna leave these screws loose a little bit, so I can push it to the back as much as possible, because you can see the screws line up on the back as it is anyway, so push it to the back as much as possible.
Mr. Masterdog says
Then secure it.
water cooling will be the default. I don't see things changing until we have new ways to make chips. Yeah, I would say right now liquid cooling, especially for higher end builds, already is the default. If you're building more of a mid-range build with like a Ryzen 5 or a Core i5, you should still be fine with a decent tower cooler. But for higher end builds, it's already getting more difficult with an air cooler.
You can switch to the other view, actually, for a minute. Let me show the nice side of case.
Solo Dolo says he's using an air cooler because he keeps his AC on 24/7. It works, yeah. AC
For those
is
cold
definitely
winter
a way
days.
to keep things cool.
Benchmark a game on a cold winter day, and you won't be cold anymore.
The Gaming Stuff TV says air cooling but live in Siberia also helps. You can just hang your radiator outside your window. Or radiator with air cooler becomes difficult. The heatsink. Yeah. So let me quickly show you what you're doing. So screwing in the radiator from the top.
Yes,
You're
sir.
actually screwing in all screws?
Yes.
Yeah. I usually do the quick and dirty way with
I know,
4
but
screws in each
we
corner.
have to show how it's done, right?
That's true.
Kind of like as much as
This is
possible,
the more sensible way.
Yeah.
Kitty Cat is asking, what case is that? This is the MPG Velox 100p Airflow. Let me quickly show you the slide here.
I mean, this is one thing we do.
So this is the exploded
so.
view of that case. Looking nice.
Yeah, starting to come together a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to re-secure the back fan that I separated earlier to the back. And then later we will get to mounting this. And in the meanwhile, I think you were going to show off the case again, right? Or talk about the case again?
Yeah,
not really.
if you guys want to know. So it's an ATX case. Comes with 4 fans out of the box, but now we have a total of, let me quickly do the math, 7 fans, because we have 3 on the radiator as well. Comes with front USB Type-C, removable dust filters, has some nice RGB magnetic top panel, and it has a nice RGB hub that you can also control with a button on the front I/O. So basically everything you connect to the hub you will be able to control with the button. Also, if you connect the hub to your motherboard through a J-Rainbow header, then if you long press the LED button, it will flash and then it will sync up with the RGB of your motherboard. It's also a very nice feature. So for example, if you want to sync it up not only with the motherboard, but also if you want to do with the RGB of your memory, stuff like that, you can make everything. Asian Phantoms asks, what's the 1 to 6 control board? That's basically the LED hub, the RGB hub that you will find on the rear I/O. Later on you will see it in more detail because Ralph will also connect all the RGB eventually to that board. And then you only need a single RGB connection to your motherboard.
Alrighty. Let's pull these cables through like we said we would do.
So all the cables for the liquid cooler coming through?
Yeah, for the fans of the liquid cooler specifically and the liquid cooler. And we're going to connect or assemble those in a second. And there should, I think, that's what it usually is, should be a connector in there somewhere that connects them together. Because they could pretty much go all on the same slot for control. Not for electricity, but for control they can. Or even for electricity. I think even for electricity.
Yeah, you can fit quite a few.
So, how's the poll doing, Michiel?
The poll I already closed. It was,
it was closed.
92 to 8%.
Not too bad.
Asian Venom's asking, so there will be a wire hanging to the side panel. What do you mean exactly? Mr. Masterdog says, I was thinking of not mentioning it, but I will. Nice and not let Ralph sweat. First boot will take time to train DDR5. Yeah, first boot always takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, I already knew that though. Michiel already told me a while ago. So I could have expected that. Right, so let's start putting the socket on. I think it's pretty safe to say that we can do that. First with some cooling paste. What's your technique? Is it a grain of rice? Is it a cross? Is it a square? A circle?
I always do like a grain of rice on the CPU, and then I use the mounting pressure to spread it. So I don't spread it manually.
Oh, actually, I'm talking about that.
At least for these types of CPUs. For Threadrippers, I usually put a little bit in different areas because the CPU is so big. But this is a relatively small CPU.
So yeah, just a grain of rice, like he said.
Yeah, or a dot or whatever you like.
In the middle. There, that should be enough. Pull it back a little bit. There. So keep this safe. You might need it someday. You never know. And then we can grab these little two connectors.
ACN Venom says you shouldn't touch the copper metal plate because your fingers contains oil, especially with all the hamburgers that Ralph had for lunch.
I didn't have hamburgers, but good point. Definitely.
Yeah, because you went to the dentist, right?
Yes, I did go to the dentist. Was not fun today, guys. I can tell you.
Ralph had a very tough morning.
Yes, I had a very tough morning. Right, so as you can see, these connectors, they hook into these sides here. So I will basically put them through the holes and then grab the screws that go on top. And then I put them on loosely. So we should still have some wiggle room to put them on, hopefully. Hopefully that's how it still works. Although I'm already seeing that it might not be.
Gigaram says the chiplets are on one side, so I put a few drops on AMD CPUs. Well, they are relatively small CPUs, the AM5 ones. So if you have like a decent drop in the middle and you spread it using proper pressure on your cooler, it will stretch over the CCDs.
Oh, that's more than enough room for that.
So should be okay.
Although I do notice one thing now, is that I put on the bracket wrong.
Fabio is asking Z790A. Someone know when will it be on the market? Well, officially they're already launched. It's best to check with your local reseller to see when they're expecting stock, because that depends per region. I don't know it exactly per region when it will arrive, so best to check with your reseller. But it is officially already out. It has been released.
That's one. So I just turned the bracket around because we were fooling around with it in the beginning. Initially I did it properly, but then I put it on wrong again. Oh, these go here. Oh, sorry. So I'm putting in these bracket screws. I hope I can get them on like this, but we need to check first. I think this
those
is the
will
most
eventually go like on the stock clips that you will find on AMD motherboards.
Yeah, so these.
And this is actually the same for both AM4 and AM5. So it's the same mounting mechanism that these liquid coolers use for either one of them.
So make sure the cable is out of the way, so it doesn't get in between. And then we try to mount it.
It's actually the case with all MSI liquid coolers. If you already own one and, for example, use it with AM4 and you want to upgrade to AM5, you don't need any new mounting brackets. You can just use the same mounting mechanism on your MSI liquid cooler that you've also been using for AM4.
There, and then we screw it tighter. Doesn't have to be that tight. I mean, just tight, you know.
Don't over tighten it, but still you need some proper pressure. Also, because this will spread out your thermal paste.
Yeah, you will definitely notice when it's enough. There's a very clear stop to it. And if you force it, you might break stuff. So don't do that. Right, then we have some little cables here as well. Like you can see, that's for the RGB.
RGB of the CPU block.
What's that? Sorry.
It's the RGB of the CPU block. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we need to get that to the back, and to the little hub as well, if possible. So I think we need to disassemble this cable here, because otherwise it won't be long enough. Like so. And then I usually just go up here actually, and through to the back. And then just pull it through. Oh, my head is in the way, I'm sorry about that. My bald egg. There, so I think this is the best way, where you see the least of the cable.
It's the shortest route.
It's the shortest route. So I think that's good for now. So the socket is secured. We have the water cooling secured. So that's the liquid cooler. And now I think we're moving on to the power supply, and that's the last single last component, besides the VGA, of course.
Yes.
Which is the easiest to mount. For the power supply, we need to go to the back again, since everything's secure now. And you can see my cable management is fantastic.
Mr. Masterdog says, are you still going to reach the CPU power connector? Are you calling Ralph's fingers fat?
I think he is. Alright, so I'll first see if there's any special connectors.
But yeah, actually connecting them is easier than disconnecting them with the radiator there. Because when you want to disconnect them, you have to push the lid, of course, and that one will be harder to reach. You can actually still reach them from behind the motherboard tray.
Let's see. So we have a pump, which is this one. So let's get that to the pump fan header first, before we lose it again. So let's disassemble this pulley, or whatever it's called, tie rip, twisty thingy. And I think it should be on the top here somewhere. Let's have a look. Find the cable. There we go. And then there's one connector here that's called the pump fan, which we can put it in.
Oh, Mr. Masterdog, this should be easy. I can still see the full 8-pin power connectors on the motherboard.
Oh yeah.
In Mini ITX, this is way harder.
My fingers are fat, but they're not that fat. Okay, and then what I usually do is I pull the cable back in the back, so it's nice and short. There. And then let's start taking a look at the fans, because that's the pump connected. Then we need to connect all the fans. And what is this one from again? I think this is one of the fans in the front.
Mr. Masterdog says, okay, just checking.
Oh,
yeah, before you were right about the radio.
So this is one of the powers from the fan, and this is the RGB. So RGB I'm going to leave alone for now, but I will connect the power. And we have a little cable that came with the, I don't know if you can you see this? Yeah, this cable came with the collection, and this basically puts all your cables into one fan header or fan connector, and it powers all three of the fans that are on your cooler, your liquid cooler. So I will do that now. As you can see, that's one.
One Young is asking, what's the situation with your MEG Z790 series motherboards and the PSU? Just waiting for the 2 parts. Please update it. What do you mean exactly with what's the situation?
It's a very vague question.
Yeah, because in terms of availability, that's very hard to very difficult to answer for worldwide, because it differs per region a bit. So if it's about when will it arrive, that's best to check with your reseller. They can give a way better answer on that than I can, because they will give an answer on your specific region.
Yeah, so I'm going to put this connector back in to the front because we need to go to the CPU or system fan depending on what is on the motherboard. Sometimes there's CPU fan and pump fan connectors, but in this case it doesn't look like there is. So I will just use the top system fan one, which is the first one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't see a CPU fan. System fan 2, system fan. System fan, system fan. System fan number 6. Yeah, I don't see a CPU fan header here.
Okay.
Oh, actually, yeah, there's one. Never mind. Yeah. You already knew that, didn't you?
I had a feeling.
Yeah, you had a hunch.
That's why I asked.
It's not a big disaster if you do that wrong, but it's not going to basically run the fan profiles that you need to cool your CPU.
Yeah, it's indeed better if you connect it to the right one. It will also be controlled in the correct way by your BIOS.
Exactly. So there's the connector here. It's on the same place. I was just very crooked-eyed, I guess. There, push the cable back, and that tucks in quite nicely. There you go. So that's the AIO cooler connected. Did I miss anything? I have the pump. Yeah, just the RGB. So we will get to that later, and take that with us with all the other connectors if we can still find all of them. But that's very easy to notice. I should be able to already connect some of them. Do I have enough? 1. That's 2, 3, 4.
I would always suggest to do the RGB at the very end, as I think RGB connectors are not the best connectors. They're quite fragile.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do your power cables and you already have them connected and you pull like the power cable a bit too firmly, then you may already disconnect some RGB cables.
Yep.
So personally, I always do the RGB connectors at the very end of the build.
Exactly. So let's get to the power supply. Like you can see, the room here is for the power supply, so we can should still be able to put it in very nicely. The back doesn't come out, so yeah, we should shove it in there. Let me unpack that for you. Today we have the A1000G, which is a lot of watts. There you have it, beautiful thing.
Wanyang says, I was asked for India, reseller says there's no official response from MSI. Then best to contact your local MSI office. So MSI India in this case.
So here's the actual power supply. As you can see, it's the MAG, and there are all the connectors. We should probably have a look at what connectors we're going to actually need, because this is modular, so this means we have multiple options for cables, which is all in this bag. So we will need the motherboard power cable. Oh, that's a combined cable in this case. So that's the thick boy, the thick cable. We will definitely need that. That can already go in actually from this side, and on this one right next to it.
Lucky Cesar says that's enough to heat my house. Well, 1000 watts, then you have a small house.
Yeah, that's a very small house. It's like a vacuum cleaner, not even.
But for a room, it may be fine. Asian Phantom says it's so tiny for a 1 kilowatt PSU. Yeah, it is actually very compact. Like in the past, if you had like 1 kilowatt or higher power supply, they used to be very long usually, but now they're very compact. Especially these models, they're very easy to fit in basically every ATX case.
Then, as you can see, I always look for the CPU cable first, which it says on the cable, which is nice. Let me check if this motherboard has 1 or 2 connectors actually.
It has 2.
Has 2?
Yeah.
Alright, then we need 2 cables.
So you can use 2, but if your power supply doesn't have it, you can also run it off a single one.
In this case, we have more than enough. Oh, it goes in this way. So I already connect those. Where's the second one? Is this one? Nope.
Meat is asking, what's the best gaming laptop under $576 US? That will be a difficult story for $576 US. You will probably end up with something with integrated graphics. It's in this price segment, you won't really be able to get a dedicated graphics card.
Yeah, I'll just use a PCIe because these are pretty
Yeah,
much
so
the
probably
same.
your best bet would be like a Ryzen with integrated graphics. Which should be fine for like esports games. You can play Rocket League of them, or League of Legends, or Counter-Strike. But for AAA titles, it will be tricky. Mr. Masterlock says system will use like 500 watt max, so won't heat up more than a room, but at 50% load will be efficient for the power supply. Yes, usually power supplies are indeed most efficient around half of their capacity.
Right. Then next up, we need some power to our SATA because we need to power the RGB connector. Looks like they have a SATA connector for that, so yeah,
Yep,
that's this
correct.
one. So we need to power that. There's no separate hard drives or anything, but they also usually use the same connector, which is this cable. So I'm just going to find the shortest one because you only need one. They're both same size, so it doesn't matter. And put the rest back. This one we don't need. It's for other applications.
The old school Molex ones, you
yeah.
don't see that many components anymore that use them, but sometimes there's still like some legacy components having.
And then the only thing that actually still needs power, so we have the motherboard, we have the CPU, and then we need the GPU to power as well, which we need, I think, 2 cables for in this case.
Yeah, I think it's to 8-pin, would be my guess.
Yeah, let me check. Let me unpack this beauty of a graphics card. Oh, beautiful.
Wildcard says actually the secondary CPU power is for overclocking and it's optional usually. Yes, it is indeed
It
optional.
is definitely optional, yes.
And indeed, when you're overclocking, I would suggest to connect it. Well, if you have the option, you can always connect it. It will never harm. But yeah, it's definitely not necessary. So if you only have a PSU with a single 8-pin power connector, it will also run fine.
Yeah, so we need a dual connector.
Yep.
So yeah, I think we've all seen an unboxing of a video card before, right? I mean, it's a bunch of stuff inside that we already know of, but it's all about this boy. I don't know if you can see that. Yes. The AMD Radeon, how do you pronounce it, Michiel?
Radeon.
RX 6750 XT. There. So we have that ready for in a bit, but we do need 2 power cables for that, which is 2 power PCI Express.
CRK says Counter-Strike is horrible for me, 25 to 35 FPS. That's strange. You can basically run Counter-Strike off a smartphone nowadays, I think. It's a very light game.
Oh, here's the second CPU cable. There you go.
Mr. Masterlock says, look at all the pasta di Ralph because of all the RGB.
The what?
The cable pasta.
Yeah, it's terrible. It looks like spaghetti.
Spaghetti, yeah.
But that's the best we can do with this time we have, unfortunately. I mean, you can spend hours managing this.
We need to speed it up a little bit, by the way.
Oh, we
in
do?
1 hour they will kick us out and we still need to demonstrate some stuff.
All right. So yeah, basically the fan is on the bottom. Basically we'll correspond that with the roster here on the bottom. So it blows the wind out and out of the back as well. So you have
No, it will pull it in.
Oh, it'll pull it in from
Yep.
here and out of the back, sorry.
Yes,
yeah,
correct.
Correct. So it should go in like this with a little bit of luck. And
Yeah, it's a relatively
wait,
short power supply, so
I forgot to
It is
connect
indeed
the
quite
SATA
easy to do.
actually.
what did you forget?
Connect the SATA cable.
Ah yeah, you do need that one for the RGB.
Yep. And that one is hard to get in once the power supply is in. So there you go. So now we have all this. More cables, guys. More cables. Very beautiful.
I was just asking, MSI AM5 motherboards available in Sri Lanka? I honestly don't know. We're based in Europe, so it's hard for me to answer about Sri Lanka. So best to check with local resellers or with the local MSI office.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe do the other camera view.
Yes.
So you can see the power supply corresponds with the back, and then all you have to do is tighten up the screws, which I will just, or position it properly first, and then tighten up the screws, which I just quickly do while Michiel answers questions.
Yes.
If I still have the screws.
Mac Gaming says Ryzen 7 series is a beast. Yeah, it's a very nice, quick CPU for sure. And also, it can be very efficient if you do a little bit of tuning with it. Then a Ryzen 7000 series can be very efficient. Wildcard says you better get moving. Yeah, because Ralph still has to take the personality test as well later.
Oh yeah, and the voice mod.
Oh, we have to demonstrate voice mod.
We have a bunch of stuff to do.
Voice mod's gonna be really cool, guys. So if Ralph's system works, that's gonna be a very cool demonstration. I really enjoyed the test we had with it yesterday.
Looks like the power supply doesn't go in properly. Why is that?
Mr. Masterdox said, what personality test? You can actually already do it, Mr. Masterdox. If you go to our website, and if you go to the Absolute 5 landing page, there you can take the gaming personality test.
Where's my screwdriver? Here we go.
Derek's asking, Mike, did you have to use a day's holiday allowance for today? Well,
No.
it feels like a holiday watching Ralph build for sure. But no, the best thing is
Backseat
I
gamer.
actually get paid to watch Ralph struggle with the PC. It's awesome.
What do you mean struggle?
Oh wait, just wait until the RGB comes in.
Yeah. You haven't seen me struggle yet.
That's when the real struggle starts. Where do you leave all the RGB cables?
There you go.
So screwing in the power supply.
Yep, one more screw. Sorry about that.
Phil Insecto on Twitch is asking, testing YouTube? No, it's on the MSI website. If you go to What's New and then the Showcase Arena, you can go to the Absolute 5 campaign page. And there you can take the personality test. And you can also take part in the in an additional giveaway, because we will give away 2 of these boxes, one in this live stream, and the other one will be through the giveaway on that landing page.
Right, so then we need to figure out the cables. I usually do the SATA first because I can just muffle that away right away. Where is the, oh here it is. So yeah, actually there. That should connect.
Mia is asking, when you're not streaming, Mike, what's your regular job at MSI? We do product marketing within MSI, and I specifically do that for motherboards, but also cases, liquid coolers, power supplies, and gaming chairs. And Rolf, for example, does the same thing, but then for monitors and gaming desktops. So we take care of a lot of product materials. We also do a lot of internal trainings, for example, preparing for product launches. So a lot of stuff like that.
Especially Michiel, he works very hard.
Especially now, right?
Huh?
Let
Especially
me
now,
put-
yeah.
You see? This is how hard I work right now.
So yeah, let's see if I can get those CPU cables connected.
You may also spot us on YouTube sometimes doing product videos, for example.
The moment of truth.
I think you're working on a video right now, right, Rob?
I'm actually working on a video right now, yeah, for a new product. Very, very, very secret.
So somewhere in the coming weeks, you will probably see Ralph's face pop up in the MSI YouTube
Yeah, it's like,
channel.
hi guys. All right. That's number one.
AKSRK is asking no RGB on the front. Why? There is actually a little bit of RGB on the front. That's also why it has the small PCB in the front with the touchable pins. So you can take off the front panel and it automatically connects when you put the front panel back on.
Not as much as a struggle as I expected so far.
Yeah, still doable.
Yeah. It's okay. Click and click, make sure it's all the way in, and then push the cables back.
So Mr. Masterdox, even with Ralph's fingers, he was still able to do it.
With my fat climbing fingers. Alrighty, that's the CPU powered. Then let's also power the motherboard, shall we, while we're at it. And I'm just going to go straight through. Normally you cable manage bits, like we said. Let's see how high it needs. Yeah. There you go. And then it obviously comes out.
MRTja Dithya is asking A1000G PSU. Yes, correct, that's the one.
Oh, accidentally disconnected this cable. That's totally fine. We can redo that in a sec. Just make sure this one is always pretty hard. So make sure to push it tightly. There you go. Once it clicks, it's fine. Put this one back. That's the motherboard powered, or the chipset, however you want to call it.
Well, it actually powers the whole motherboard.
It actually, the whole motherboard actually, yeah.
Apart from the CPU, that's where you have the 8 pins for.
Where is the rubber gone? That's what she said. There you go. Let's try to make it a little bit more neat. Cool. What else is there? So we connected the motherboard, we connected the CPU.
Did you already connect all the front headers, so the HD audio and the...
Yes.
Then it's time to put in the GPU, I think.
Yeah, GPU and... well, why do I have an extra cable now? I'm confused. I think I would put in one too many actually. If I had 2 CPU, yeah, I put in one too many. That's fine, I can just take one out.
Derek says, whoa, that's what she said, joke. Yeah, maybe we should adjust our age rating for this live stream.
Alright, so we don't need those. And then just 2 more for the VGA. I will try to put this under here, or actually to the side here would be nicer, I think.
People in chat love your cable management, Ralph.
Yeah, it's amazing. I promise I am usually better at this. But right now we just don't have the time.
It's the quick and dirty way today.
Yeah.
And this side panel is closed anyway, so.
There, 1 VGA cable, power cable 2. That's for later. Cable management. This is cable management, guys. There.
Just stuff it in there.
That's cable management 1-on-1. All right. Then let's get to your RGB connectors really quick. You can loop these, right, Michiel?
Yes, you can interconnect them to each other.
There you go.
So for example, you can interconnect all the fans and then you only have to connect one cable to the RGB hub.
There is one.
Sir Farmalot says, the spider web method. Exactly.
That's a good name for it. That is 2. So that's fan number 1, fan number 2, going to fan number 3.
Astigos is saying on YouTube chat, what's the GPU? It's the Radeon RX 6750 XT Gaming X Trio 12G. It's a long name, isn't it?
It's quite a mouthful, yeah. Another one, and actually
Ayash is asking Intel 13 Gen or AMD Ryzen 7000, and it depends very much on your situation and what you want. For a more efficient system, I would say Ryzen 7000 series. For slightly better, especially multi-threaded performance, 13 Gen usually.
There, that should be all the RGB connected, I think. Am I missing a fan? What's the back fan? Let's see if it's connected.
You have so many fans, Ralph.
I have a lot of fans, yeah, today I do. That one is cool.
GigaRam says, just took the test and I'm a rabbit folk.
You're what?
A rabbit folk.
I still need to do it, I'm pretty curious now. So that's the power. That's 2. I think this cable
Santosh is saying, I want to do that cable management.
Oh really? You like to do that?
I think there are not a lot of people that actually enjoy cable management.
It is quite satisfying if you do it properly.
Yeah, like the end result is satisfying. But like cable management itself is usually not the most enjoyable part of building a PC, right?
Spider-Man. All right, I think that covers the RGB part. So I think we can see if it boots or not. I will cover up this mess with...
Did you actually put in this VGA already?
No, not yet, not yet,
Okay.
not yet, hold on. But I can cover up the back because I already pulled the cables. So there, simsalabim. And the cables are
I'm
gone.
very curious if all the RGB will work.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I actually forgot one thing, which is the... Did I? Hold on.
You forgot something? RGB?
I think I might have forgot the CPU cooler. Let me see.
The front, the block.
Yeah, the block.
Ah.
This guy. Nope.
Are you sure you're putting the back panel on before?
Yeah, good
Testing?
point. Good point. I can do that later. Very good point.
Yeah, I sometimes also do it. It
getting
shows
ahead of
confidence
myself.
if you close it before you test it.
There you go. Alrighty, let's put on the VGA then. We had it here. Ooh, still new in the box. You always need to smell it. Like a fresh loaf of bread. Amazing. Oh, I need to take out.
Yeah, it will be hard with the brackets in.
Yeah. So let's see where the brackets go. Line it up. And which brackets need to be taken out. Looks like those two. So not the first one, but the second and third. Do you think AMD cards smell different from NVIDIA?
Good question.
I'm just messing with you.
I never really compared them.
We should try after the stream. All right, so basically take off the cover, use the PCIe connector, make sure the clicky button is open, and then, you know, it can only go in one way. Make sure your power cables are not in the way, and then it should, if put in properly.
Mr. Mestrox took the test. He says, I'm a kitsune according to the test. Kitsune? Kitsune? I don't know how you pronounce it.
Kitsune.
Is kitsune a Japanese thing?
Yep. I think it's a fox-like creature, but I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to want to go in for some reason. So let's see what's blocking it. Maybe there's something in the case blocking it. Sometimes you just need to fiddle with it a little bit, but it should fit.
Do I need to hand you a hammer?
Not yet. I mean, it clicks in place now, so that's a good sign. The back always also clicks in place, so I finally have it, looks like. Put the screws in. Very quickly. Very quickly.
Neo Linkster says it can be either a demon or a god, depending on the myth.
But it looks like a fox, right? Or like a... Wasn't Ninetales from Pokemon a kitsune? I'm not sure.
I have no idea.
So, the only thing left to do, I think, is power the...
Kenneth says, if all else fails, get a bigger hammer.
Well, I've seen you stream with a hammer the other day.
Yeah, with the tempered glass panels.
Yeah, you were testing side panels.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I have indeed.
I wish I could have done that stream. Was that your most fun streams so far?
Yeah, it was definitely one of the more enjoyable ones.
Anger management classes, basically.
What may be even better is getting hammered on stream.
Oh, you did that too?
No, but would still like to do that once.
Maybe for Christmas. Oh, what am I doing?
Or New Year's with all the champagne.
I'm not checking the cables properly and I was having it the wrong way around. There.
Question from Bane on YouTube chat. When will the Z790 Godlike be available? Should be relatively soon. Godlike will be slightly later than the other Z790 models, but best to check with your local reseller on when they expect it. Because it differs per region, so it's very hard for me to answer because I don't know the exact information per region.
So who thinks it's going to run, guys? Can I get a 1 in the chat if you think it's running and a 0 if it's not?
I can run another poll to see if people are still so confident it will run.
In my abilities. We had a power cable here somewhere, right? Oh yeah. Let's connect it to the power.
Let me see how did this work. Start a poll. Do you still think Ralph his system will boot properly? Yes. No. Okay. On YouTube there is a poll again. I see a lot of ones in the Twitch chat.
That's a good sign.
Oh, the one was that it will work?
Yes.
Okay. And people are still very confident.
All right. Shall we wait for the long boot? The moment of truth?
Yeah, we will. Still have to see if it works, right?
Yeah, I still need to plug in the actual cables for the monitor as well.
That usually helps.
Yep. I might need to reboot it even because you know how DisplayPort sometimes is protesting.
At least the RGB works.
The RGB works, yeah, that's a good sign. The front fans don't have RGB, so in case you're wondering, that's not my fault.
Or are you just using it as an excuse and they're actually RGB fans but you didn't connect them?
No, they're not.
Just kidding.
Definitely
they're
not.
indeed black fans.
Well, let's have a look at our screen. It's still booting, I think.
Do you already see something?
No, I think I need to reboot it. I think
maybe it's still doing the memory training, could be.
Let's see, is there any lights? The debug LED says...
Yeah, memory
VGA.
training time probably.
Huh?
Memory training, I would guess.
Yeah, probably. Oh, yeah, now it's... Yep. New CPU installed. There you go. It's working.
Nice, nice.
Give it a second.
People did get less confident in you in YouTube chat. Now only 79% said yes.
They were wrong. I did prove them wrong.
Now it's going to 81%, but now they already know it booted.
Okay, now we can put actually the side panels on and the filters, since it's already running.
I don't have any signal yet though.
You don't? No, it's still booting.
Ah, okay.
It's booting to Windows now. So make sure to not hit the fans with my fingers. There you go. Get rid of this horrible cable management.
And it's gone. The perfect way to solve it.
It's a beautiful thing. We don't make mistakes, just happy little accidents, like Bob Ross says. There you go. So we are booted. Are you seeing anything on your end?
Let me have a look.
I think the VGA drivers are not installed. Because it's giving me
Well,
a
while
weird-
you're doing this, we didn't actually talk about the VGA card yet. So this is the Radeon RX 6750 XT Gaming X Trio 12G we're using today. So this has a triple fan cooler, that's why it's Gaming X Trio. The regular Gaming X only has 2 fans. It comes with the Trifroster 2 cooler with torque fan 4.0. It has core pipes, so those are like the squared pipes to transfer the heat from the GPU to the cooler. Also has a custom PCB, zero frost technology, so if the temperature allows it, the fans will also stop spinning. Has some additional cooling through the backplate, and of course it supports Mystic Light through the MSI sensor as well as Afterburner. So this is the graphics card we're using. Okay.
Installing drivers, 1 sec.
Okay.
The rest works, so this should be fast.
And then make sure to duplicate your screen.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to need a reboot or not, but we'll see. Okay.
Hydra Kaiser says, wait, is the case still missing the front cover? Yeah, Ralph still has to put the front cover and the tempered glass side panel back on.
Yes, sir.
He just already did one of the side panels to hide his cable mess.
Like you should. Always hide your mess with a side panel. I think that's a good quote.
But what does the front look like? Is this side pretty?
Well, let's have a look. Hold on. We have a front panel and we have a filter for that as well. We have a filter for the top, that's magnetic.
And the
then
dust filter.
this last guy. Flop. Very user friendly. The front panel, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this might look a little bit different because this was a special edition. Oh, I just pressed the power button.
You're actually you're shutting it down now?
Yes.
Nice.
It was already shutting down though, so I'm not sure if it was already rebooting. But
Maybe rebooting after the VGA driver installation. Hydra Kaiser says, at least Ralph doesn't need to hammer to fit the side panel for cable management. No, not in this case. He had quite a lot of space here, so he got lucky.
It's a nice case to build in, to be honest. I've never built in this case before, but it's very nice. Very easy. There's enough holes for all the cables, and the holes are also where they should be. So you could make this a very nice cable managed PC. There you go.
Can you turn a little bit further?
Further? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, this side looks pretty. Let's forget about the back. This side is pretty.
Let's forget about the fat fingers. Yeah, there should be no visible cables except for the VGA ones. But if you really want to, you could replace those with something nicer.
Nice.
Something custom. Now let's see. The drivers are installed.
Can you
so
long press the LED button on top?
Can I?
Yeah, if
Yes,
you hold
I
it.
can. Hold it?
Yeah, hold it. It will flash, and now it's synced up with the motherboard, so it will do the same RGB effect.
Ah, great. Oh, the microphone's not plugged in yet. Hold on.
Hey, there we are.
We can test if the front I/O works. But that's the build, guys. It actually works. So for everyone that voted yes.
Maybe you can turn it again so we can see you.
Yeah, well.
That was your can, I hope, and not the
Ow.
PC.
Static electricity from wearing too many Crocs, I guess. There. Now I need...
There it is. Ralph is streaming PC. He already got the streaming microphone there, the GV60.
I can turn it a little bit. There. It's a green screen anyway, so. Yes, and then now everything should be good on your and my end.
Oh, I think we're already getting some audio.
Oh yeah.
What is it from?
So, oh, you can see it? Okay, great. So yeah, guys, included with this box is a VoiceMod, is a VoiceMod Pro license, which means you have a lot and lots of voice mods basically. So I will demonstrate later, but basically this software is a voice changer. With some sound effects included. You can also make your own sound effects or voice mods together with sound effects, and you can use them with Stream Deck integration. You can download more. There's a whole forum for it where you can download more and more sounds. And yeah, it's quite fun actually. You can just troll your friends on Discord, or you can use it to stream. Especially for streaming, they're very intuitive. So actually, let me
tell you a story. And it should actually work right now, but my should sound a little bit like a narrator. And we just built a very nice PC. Not in the forest like all fairy tales, but here at the MSI studio.
So yeah, that's Morgan Freeman for you. Let me demonstrate some others actually.
The police one is really good, I think.
Which one?
The police one is really nice.
Yeah, I'm now broadcasting from a cave. I hope you guys can hear me because I'm lost. Or I can broadcast from, which one was it? Now I'm a policeman. Excuse me, sir, please pull over. You have built a PC that is way too awesome and has way too good cable management. You will receive a ticket for that. Roger, Roger. Nikhil is laughing his ass off. Yeah, but basically this is a voice changer. Oh, sorry. So basically this is a voice changer. It has a lot of different voices, as you can see. You can just customize them.
Even
You can customize the voice volume, you can customize the background noises, the reverb, any effect, and you can also create your own. So there's Voice Lab. And in Voice Lab you can basically
change yourself into a woman, like so, or like an adult woman, or maybe even a senior woman. I don't know if you can hear that right now. I think you can.
Brian says next level catfish. Wait, I have to switch between microphones, so tell me when I have to switch again. And
no, it's fine.
I think now they hear you double though. Wait.
Should be better. So yeah, this is a very...
Yeah, Paglami also says, I can hear both voices now.
It's a nice piece of kit. It's very intuitive, like I said. There's a lot of integrations with Stream Deck for those streamers. You can use it on Discord. You can use it basically anywhere. Any voice comm software, streaming software. You can just select it basically in Windows as a source, and it will work like a microphone would. So yeah. Very simple to use. And I think we also have...
Can you maybe go to the landing page?
Oh yeah, go on.
If you go to MSI.com
and
then
MSI.com. There you go. I still need to do the test. And
yes.
Where is it? Oh, wrong one. Damn it. Darn. Hey.
Time for your gaming personality test.
Did they take it off?
The moment of truth. No, no, no. If you go to the top, what's new?
Oh, here you go. Yeah.
There it is.
Absolute 5. Right.
Oh, actually, we do. Can you put voice mod back on and put it on?
Okay, which one do you want?
Which one do you guys want? Put it in chat.
Which one do you guys want to hear?
Plenty of options. Maybe scroll a little bit. There are more options. Okay, chat.
Baby?
Plenty of options to choose from. I see 1 vote for Morgan Freeman. I see 1 vote for Magic Chords. Cave. None. Crazy Clown. Narrator. Zombie. I see more narrator votes.
Okay.
Sentinel.
I feel the narrator is the most likely.
Yeah, I think that one is popular.
Alrighty.
Here we
go,
go,
guys. Up on. So, let's do this character this survival guide. So let's see what gaming personality I am. Go to character select. Which of the following do you use or do you value the most when you are playing games? I would say battle mechanics. When you play games, would you rather talk to NPCs, teammates, air, or your audience? I would say teammates. When you find yourself stuck in a game, you usually immediately search for a reliable game walkthrough for help, try to figure it out, then only search for guide if you're stuck for days. Keep at it until you find your way by yourself, or play other games for a while and try it later. I would try to figure it out and then search for a guide if I'm stuck for days, because where's the fun in that? If you find yourself in a gaming world and there's only one mode you can choose, which one would you prefer? I would say range mage. When you play games, how do you feel about the characters in the game? I immerse myself in the story quite a bit. Yep. When you see an exquisite sword in the middle of the road, what would come to your mind first? Well, if it was in real life, I would say, who owns this sword? Though if it's in a game, I would probably say, do I get a special quest when I pick it up? Do you enjoy playing games alone or rather really good with people? No, rather with a group of people. If you team up with others, you usually become the leader of the team. I don't think so. Not a Freeman would, but I wouldn't. When you team up with others in MOBA or MMORPGs, you usually just pick a character I like. When you play role-playing games, would you rather explore the main story first, in a chat room? I usually actively strike up new conversations. It's 1 AM already and you're playing a new game that's been on your wish list for months. However, you need to get up at 7 for work or school. What would you do? Well, Eric, I hope you're not watching, but I will take a day off tomorrow and and play my game. To register your name. What's my gaming name again? Commissar Rolf. Generate results. One alien. Wait, we have a voice note for that. I think. Do you still have the microphone on?
Yes. So, guys, I'm an alien. I love to be in the spotlight and live in the present. As long as I have an audience. The world is my stage. I won't shy away from trying a wide range of games as long as they seem like fun. In fact, the alien personality leans towards games that showcase my skill. Yeah, very nice. Then, right here, guys, you can register for the giveaway of one of these boxes that we unboxed today. Let me actually...
Turn the voice changer off.
I got your normal microphone back on, so now people can hear me again as well.
Thank you. So...
it seems like people in the chat really enjoyed the software.
Sorry guys, we had to do it to you. So yeah, there's another one of these boxes that you can win through this exact page. You just need to do the test and then you can register for the giveaway as well. And yeah.
So we're giving away 2 kits, one in this live stream and one through the landing page. So you can participate in both if you want to.
Exactly, exactly. Then we have one more piece of kit to show you, and that's Own 3D Pro. So
yeah, let's maybe also show Stream Scheme. I think that's also really interesting, especially if you're new to streaming, if you're just getting into it. It has a lot of useful information there.
Yeah, do we get a license for this as well? I think so, right?
I think it's just a website with a lot of content, right? I don't think it needs a license, does it?
Might not actually. So Stream Scheme is basically a website made by a couple of content creators that have a lot of experience with streaming. And there's a lot of guides on there on how to start off. If it's your first time streaming, definitely check this out. There's a lot of good content, a lot of
also have a lot of tutorials, I think, about different kinds of streaming software and tools and all those kind of things. So if you're just getting into it and everything's new to you, you can actually watch a lot of their videos and they will just explain step by step how everything works.
Exactly. And even advice on how to approach your stream, you know, like how to treat your viewers, how to not be a sellout too much when streaming, stuff like that. So
maybe we should watch a couple of those tutorials.
Maybe we should, yeah. Maybe we should send Eric towards this and.
As the Rockman has to go for dinner, enjoy.
Hey, enjoy, man. Have a nice dinner. Yeah, so definitely check this out as well.
Bane says, I'm starting new to streaming, we'll check this out. Yeah, I think there's a lot of useful stuff on here. You can learn a lot from it.
Then that is definitely the place to go. Yeah.
What's the website called? It's called Stream Scheme.
Stream Scheme.
Actually, if you go to our landing page, if you go to the Absolute 5 page, you will see at the very bottom. If you click it, it will have a link included in there.
But it's just streamscheme.com.
PopFunko79 says, how to get pro for voice mod? Well, there are actually 2 ways. One is to get a license from their website. The other way is to win one of those boxes, because there's actually a 1-year license included with the giveaway box that we're giving away today, and also one through the landing page.
Right on. All right.
But I think there's also a free version of voice mod, right? I think you will be more limited in terms of...
There is a free version, yeah. So you don't necessarily need a license, but a lot of the sounds will be blocked for you. I think they also are running a beta right now where they actually have AI changing your voice to sound like Morgan Freeman or to have a certain accent, for example. Those are a little bit harder to process. So I think you need Pro for that. And the basic ones, like, you know, being T-Pain or being a cop is probably available, yeah.
GigaRam says, I've been streaming for a few years and I only have 197 or 198 subs. I'm doing it wrong. Well, that's 198 more subs than we, because I think we've got subscriptions even switched off on Twitch.
For streaming for a few years, is that subs on YouTube or subs on Twitch? For subs on Twitch, that's really good, actually. And subs on YouTube, yeah. I mean, keep grinding, man. It's streaming is a grind, as they say. You will also be taught that on Stream Scheme. And maybe it's your concept that needs a little bit of adjusting. Sometimes it's the small things that can really matter for your viewers. But
it's also not always about having the highest viewing numbers, I think. No. Some streams can be really nice if they have like a certain niche. They will never be the biggest streamers, but they can have really good content for just a smaller audience as well.
Yeah, and the most important thing about streaming is that you have fun. That's the most important thing. If you don't have fun in streaming and you're just doing it to get viewers, then you're probably not doing it for the right reasons. And then it's really, really hard to maintain. But this will also be explained on Stream Scheme, definitely. This is the stuff they really go into as well.
Hey, CJ Bill, welcome. Doing good here, how are you? Oh, you haven't managed to catch our streams for a bit. Well, you can still view all of them back on YouTube. They're all available on demand.
On-demand content. Right, then we have one more
good
website
to have you
to
live
go
here
through.
as well.
And that is actually Own 3D. If you're new to streaming, for some of you guys actually are, this might be a good place to look for overlays. Own is basically a database full of downloadable content that you can purchase, including all overlays, notifications for all streaming platforms, music, sounds, stream labels, chatbots, you name it. And there's also a discount code for this in the giveaway that we're doing in the box. So that's one through the website and one through this stream that we still need to announce. Or we still need to announce the winner for that. So you can still participate. Link is in the description. And you can basically go to this landing page and run through the gaming personality, share it, share it with your friends, save the results, and register for a giveaway, and then you'll be good to go. And then you'll be participating in the giveaway.
CJ Bill says streaming can be a ton of fun. I recommend people to try it out. Yeah, it can be really nice, I think.
Definitely, yeah. So
unless you're streaming with Ralph, then it's really horrible.
Yeah, especially if you watch Ralph do cable management. Some nice banter going on already here. I'm gonna hear this for weeks. So yeah, guys, I think that covers most of it. Here you can see what you can also purchase a pro plan for this, which is a monthly fee, and then you get customer support and all the overlays that you need. But basically, this is everything that's available on the website. Anything that you need for streaming, in terms of graphics. If you're not a graphic designer, or you're afraid to make it yourself, you don't know, if you're just looking for inspiration, go to this website, check it out. Can never hurt, you don't have to purchase anything, but you definitely can. It's very convenient, and it's all imported as well. So you just basically get a file, you import it into your Streamlabs or whatever software you use, and it automatically sets it up for you. So it's very nice.
Saves a lot of money. Our designer is always very busy with making all the, name tags and stuff.
Yep. Yeah, that's it's a good concept. Definitely, it helps a lot of people. Even for emotes, I think you can make your own emotes. You can make yourself as an emote.
Wildcard says, I ain't got personality for streaming. That's fine as well. Like, streaming is not for everyone, and also if you don't enjoy it, then some people enjoy viewing a lot more than streaming themselves.
Yep. Yeah, it's also okay to be a viewer or to be just a laid-back gamer. Everybody has a different personality. You don't always have to stream. It's not like it's mandatory nowadays to be popular. You have to stream. No, it's definitely not the case.
No, because we stream and we're still not popular.
Exactly. All right, I think that covers it, Michiel.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But we have one very important thing to do still.
Yeah, we need to announce the winner.
Yeah. Maybe you can already talk a little bit about what we will do next week before we announce our big winner. Let me move to this side.
Right, I can't really talk about next week because I don't want to give something away that I'm not allowed to. But basically, we're going to cover the RTX 4080 Supreme X. Or Peter is, and I don't know who's going to join him yet. But definitely an interesting topic. So if you're into graphics cards and...
I'm actually in the wrong giveaway. I was at the 2nd of November. That was last week's giveaway. Let's try this week.
Let's not do that, yeah. Let's not announce those winners again.
I have a lot of entries.
Ooh. Okay.
And also, if you don't win this one, make sure to sign up for the one through the landing page as well. There are several kits. There are separate kits, so... There are 2 different ones.
Yeah, they're completely separate giveaways. So even though this Gleam is not doing it for you, you can still go through the website.
We have our winner. The moment of truth is here, and this person will win one of these very nice boxes with a Ryzen 7 7700X, 32 gigabytes of Kingston Fury Beast RGB DDR5, 5600 megahertz memory, an MAG B650 Tomahawk Wi-Fi motherboard, and the MAG CoreLiquid C360 liquid cooling. Also a nice discount code for Own 3D Pro and a 1-year license for VoiceMod. And our winner, Ralph, the honor is all yours to announce the winner.
Drum roll. The Fossil.
Congratulations, the Fossil.
Congratulations.
You won our box. We will send you an email in the coming days. We will ask you for your shipment details so we can send the box out to you. Please keep in mind that it will take some time to get to you. So be aware that it may take a couple of weeks before it arrives. But you are the winner of today's giveaway. And for everyone that didn't win yet, make sure to sign up through the landing page because you will have another chance to win one of these very nice gaming chests. For now, thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone enjoyed it to watch Ralph do cable management and stuff. Ralph, how did you like building live on stream?
It's fine. It's actually I like building PCs. It's somehow it's very satisfying. It feels like a puzzle to me a little bit,
especially with all the RGB cables.
Yeah. But it gets easier and easier the more hardware we develop.
Bebop is asking, was it a Twitch or a YouTube winner? Let me see. This was a YouTube winner.
That was a YouTube winner. Yeah.
Yes. But it is possible that you can sign up with multiple entries, so it could be that the person signed up with both Twitch and YouTube.
Can you check
but he won with the YouTube entry.
Can you check it again, Michiel? The page?
This one? Yeah, YouTube.
Oh, you can see the action when they
Yeah, I can see like you can perform certain actions and you can see
the MSI gaming on YouTube. Yeah.
That's the action that won basically. Yep. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Next week we will of course be here again, same place, same time, and then we'll show you the performance of the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 and the Supreme X version of this graphics card. So make sure to join as well next week. For now, thank you so much for joining, and
good night.
Have a good night or morning, wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
At least enjoy yourself. Goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.